Dragon Ball Apprentice Angel Chapter 201-220. Chapter 201 Number 18, I'm Roger's woman. Roger, just let Boo go, he won't kill people everywhere, will he? Bulma came to Roger's side and asked a little worriedly. Bulma, these are not your concerns. Roger shook his head. Boo might kill someone, or he might find a place to be honest, but it doesn't matter. Even if those people are unfortunately killed, isn't there a Dragon Ball that can bring them back to life? But what if someone happens to die twice? Bulma asked again that it was only his bad luck. Roger sighed slightly. Bulma, although I am very good at it, it is impossible for me to do everything. Moreover, from the current angel's point of view, the reproduction rate of human beings on Earth is only about 10 years at most, and will be destroyed by the god of destruction because of the impact on the balance of the universe. 10 years. Suji, don't lie to me. Bulma's face paled. I did not lie to you. Roger is serious, so, the existence of Boo, eliminating some people, is a good thing for the whole Earth. Bulma. Also, Bulma, if one day I'm not on Earth and the god of destruction comes to destroy the Earth, what do you ask Roger? Am I going to challenge the god of destruction in this holy garment? Bulma's body is slightly stunned. You think too much. Roger shook his head. What then? Can Goku and Bai Gun Gun beat Beerus back then? Bulma asked again. Roger tells the truth. Ah, Bulma's face changed again. Do you know why I only serve the most common food to Wes? Roger smiled. Roger, do you mean to say, do you want me to bribe Wes with top quality food? Bulma asked. Wes and Beerus, the god of destruction, are foodies, and then give the best food on Earth to if they taste it, they will be open to the Earth. Roger said, but don't worry, under normal circumstances, when I am on Earth, they will not dare to be presumptuous. The situation I am talking about is 1 in 10,000. Probability. Roger said this is not groundless. After Roger's training is over, if he really takes over the new universe, he will rarely come back on the Earth side. What Roger wanted his father to deal with was the entire universe. Naturally, it was impossible to confine his eyes to the Earth in the Milky Way. He was afraid that the Earth would really be destroyed by the god of destruction. At most, Roger would slap Beerus, and it was impossible. The biggest possibility for Roger is to resurrect the Bulma family, and then bring them to his own universe. As for others, Roger hasn't had so much Cao Zhang. In the barrier. What did you say? Pull the tail out. This whole person is not very calm. I'll find a pair of pliers. Vegeta flew away after saying that. Soon, Bai Yantaning came back with a pair of pliers. After Bai Si saw the pliers, his lips trembled. Let us start. Vegeta smiled. Okay, there's nothing to be ashamed of. We gritted our teeth with Bai Si and pulled down our pants. Roger waved his hand gently, covered with a layer of smoke. Immediately afterwards, only heard inside Pingmo, Bai Si heard the howl of a slaughtered pig, very far east of Bulma's house. 18th has already seen a sketch of himself and the 17th living together from a distance. I'm rich now. I have to buy a lot. 18th, it flew slowly towards a large shopping plaza near the small island. Half an hour later, on the 18th, carrying a lot of newly bought clothes came out of a clothing store. It was not delicious, not tasty at all. At this time, number 18 heard someone in a hall, shouting. Number 18 glanced over there. 8 was stunned for a moment. She found that there was a pink-skinned person in the restaurant who was eating. It was this guy who said that the food in this restaurant was not delicious. Why does this pink guy look familiar? 18 frowned. I am angry. Boo roared. Long. Suddenly, the restaurant was shocked by Boo's collapse on the 8th, and it almost changed color. Almost without the slightest hesitation, number 18 turned around and ran. This pink guy is probably not as simple as he thought. However, not long after number 18 flew out, Boo flickered and stood in front of number 18. I know you, your name is number 18. Boo turned to the 18th to the right and asked for flowers. Who are you? Number 18's heart sank. All turned into chocolate. The tentacles on Boo's head flashed pink flames. bombarding all the humans in this town, and all of them turned into chocolate. Boo beckoned to Ruo these chocolates. All of them entered his mouth. It was not delicious, it was not delicious. Boo said it was not delicious while eating it. 18 Feet's face is ugly. This man is terrible. I am afraid that he is not his opponent at all. What does it make you better? Boo ate yarrow chocolate and silently looked at number 18. Let's become peanuts. I heard that peanuts and chocolate have a unique taste. 18 Feet's face changes color again. I don't want to be a peanut. Become a peanut. As Boo said, the tentacles on his head are already aimed at number 18. I am Roger's woman. Number 18 Feet's heart moved, and he quickly said that Boo's face stiffened and he was dumbfounded. Then, Boo silently looked at number 18. 8 breathed a sigh of relief. This trick really works. You lied to me. Roger's woman is called Bulma. Boodo. I'm also his woman. Number 18 is cold and happy. You can ask him if you don't believe me. He won't forgive him if you eat me. Boo dare not turn number 18 into peanuts. In case this woman is really Roger's, Boo believes that he will die miserably if she eats it. The figure of Boo leaving, let out a sigh of relief. Almost turned into a peanut. Roger, did you make this, Boo too? Number 18 gritted his teeth. After 3 hours of tug-of-war, Bei Si's tail was finally pulled out by Bei Rang, and Bei Si almost fainted in pain. But looking at his tail, Bei Si still smiled happily. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 202. This is the realm of the Realm King. Bei Gun Gun, take him to find a place where no one else is, and practice together. Roger ordered. What you have to do is very simple, to protect your artificial moon from being broken by others to the greatest extent possible. Otherwise, your transformation will be in vain. Roger said. The scepter in his hand flashed and hit Vegeta. Suddenly, behind Bei Yanta, the tail suddenly grew out. Bei Si's face froze, his eyes almost popped out of his eye sockets and his tail. Bei Gunsui's tail just grew out like this. What are you kidding? I was in pain for 3 hours. Roger, can you just let me grow my tail? Don't think too much, pull. It is also a kind of cultivation, and the tail grows directly through me, but the effect is not good. Roger smiled. Bei Gun Gun used to have a tail, so I changed it to him with 5 zeros, and the effect was not affected. I believe you are a ghost, okay. As long as the tail exists, it doesn't matter how the process of growing it doesn't make sense, okay. Immediately afterwards, Bei Si saw Roger's unkind expression. When my heart was tight, I hurriedly learned the appearance of the Kaiwang god. Roger is a nice guy. Roger is a nice guy. This trick really worked. Bei Si found that Roger's eyes were much kinder to him. Don't try to challenge Boo until you find a way to stabilize the artificial full moon. Roger waved and said they could leave. At the same time, Bardock and Jine brought Sun Wukong, Sun Wuhan and Raditz back to their home. As for Kiki and Keelan, they don't know where they went. Forget it, let them go. There is no time for them yet. Kaiwang Shen silently followed behind Bardock and Jine, and Bardock ignored him. Bardock, do you think Kaio God has a tendency to be masochistic? Nei asked in a low voice. You beat him, but he is going to follow us. Bardock and silently give the king of the king a look at the back. Kaiwang God. You are so special. I heard it all, okay. Who wants to follow you? I want to take Sun Wukong and Sun Wufan away. Who wants to follow you? The king of the realm has no words. Kaiwang Shen believes that he can't beat Bardock, so let's keep a low profile. Zhuangshan suddenly found out in a tragic sense that he was a tragic god who was bullied by an archangel, and he was bullied by a human being. After arriving home, the three Sun Wukong slowly woke up. I remember. I seem to have been absorbed by Lien Renbu. Sun Wukong scratched his head, and the sadness on his face urged me to. Sun Wufan lowered his head. And I. That nasty guy. Rades Pia. Boo's breath is still there. So, Dad didn't beat him. Sun Wukong looked at Bardock and asked Bardock to have nothing to hide. He immediately absorbed what happened after Sun Wukong was absorbed, and simply said, "Roger, is it that powerful?" Sun Wukong was surprised to hear that Roger knocked out Bu, who absorbed his father, with a single scepter. "Idiot, you just know now. Or why do you think father called him master?" Raditz gave Sun Wukong a roll of eyes. "Is Roger a god? What, are you kidding?" Sun Wufan is also very shocked. This is the end of the matter. Talking about the master in private is disrespectful to the master. Bodok said that Sun Wukong and Sun Wufan did not ask any more questions. However, Sun Wukong was inspired to fight. "I really want to find a chance to learn from Roger." This time, Roger said, "I can no longer participate. I hope you can beat Boomer yourself. The reason why I let you fight is because I hope to grow up quickly in the battle." Bodok looked at Monkey King and said, "Dad believes in you, you can definitely do it." "It's nerve-wracking. Actually, I can't help it." Monkey King thoughtfully, "But if Vegeta is still alive, maybe the two of us can find a way to defeat Boo." "Any solution?" the Realm King asked from the side. "I met the Metama people in heaven, and they taught me fusion art. If I win with Vegeta, I want to defeat the current Boo without any problem." Sun Wukong smiled. "You confuse with Rapunzel," Bardock suggested. "Make trouble. I do not want." Raditz was not happy at the time. "I'm not going to get along with Kakarot. How can I live with his wife after the fusion? I'm not that kind of person." Fusion in only 30 minutes. Sun Wukong rode. "Have 30 minutes. Raditz was slightly startled, shook his head and said, "I'll forget it, Kakarot, the glory of revitalizing the family is on you and Gohan. I don't want to participate in Raditz. How about one day hanging Kakarot?" However, after Kakarot became the third-tier Super Saiyan, he was a little desperate. "Wukong, I plan to take you to the realm of the King of God. I have a way to make you stronger." Zhuangshan proposes the realm of Dao Zhuangshan. "Make me stronger." Sun Wukong is slightly startled. "Yes." Zhuangshan nodded. "There is a legendary sword in the realm of the King of God. It is said that the person who pulls out the sword will gain powerful energy." "Why do you hear this story a bit hot?" Giant shook her head. "I didn't make up you. It's straight. Please believe me." Jia Wangshen clenched his head and raised his head with a dangerous sincere expression. "Okay, I believe in you." Monkey King nodded. "If pulling out the sword can really make you stronger, I can go and try it, come on." Bardock patted Sun Wukong's fan. Sun Wukong replied, "Lord Kai Wangshan, can I bring Gohan with me?" "No problem, of course, I actually thought so too." Jia Wangshen smiled slightly and stretched out his hand in a friendly manner. "Please hold my hand." 1.7 Zhuangshan performed teleportation, and took Sun Wukong away from the earth in a flash, and appeared in Zhuangshan realm. "Wukong, Gohan, welcome to Zhuangshan realm." Zhuangshan smiled. "This is it teleportation?" Sun Wukong asked in surprise. The King of God nods. "It's amazing, there's no one here. How did you move here?" Sun Wukong is a little curious. What does teleportation have to do with someone or no one? The King of the World is puzzled. "And I will also teleport, but my teleportation needs to sense the breath of that person to move past," Xiao Wukong explained. "Like, I'm different from you, I can teleport as long as I can see it." The Realm King smiled. "Can you see Earth here?" Sun Wukong raised his eyes and looked into the distance. "Where is the shadow of the Earth?" "You are a genius, remember in a second." Chapter 203 The Old World King God. Have you read The Gods? Yes, I am Kaiwang God. Of course I can go right to the Earth. Not only the Earth, but all the planets in this universe I can see. The King God smiled and said, "My duty is to create planets and protect life." It's so great. When you say that, I kind of want to be the King of Gods. Sun Wukong held his chin and muttered, "Haha. But it's not that easy to be the real world king." The real world king laughed and said casually. Sun Wukong smiled, turned his head and asked, "Where is the divine sword that Lord Zhuangshan said?" "Please come with me." The king of the realm flew up. Sun Wukong and Sun Wufan followed. Soon, Kaiyan, the king of the realm, took Sun Wukong and Sun Wufan to the top of the mountain where the sword was located. Wukong, Wufan, this is the sword. The King of Kings pointed to the divine sword that was stuck in the depths of the mountain. Sun Wukong tried. It's really not easy to pull out. Sun Wukong scratched his head and greeted Gohan. Gohan, try your family. Ah, all right. Sun Wufan nodded and drew his sword. The divine sword remained motionless. Gohan becomes a Super Saiyan. Sun Wukong proposes. Yes, Dad. Sun Gohan replied. Pop. Sun Wufan's body is full of 16 golden arrogance. Shenjian is loose. The next moment, Sun Wuhan grabbed the long sword and flew into the sky, and brought out some dirt, which did not disappoint me. Kaiwang Shen laughed, and then said sternly, Goku, Gohan, Boo, it's a pity for you to solve it. Forget it. What Kaiwang Shen wants to say is that it is a pity that Roger and Bardock can easily destroy Boo, but they are unwilling to shoot. But it's not easy for the King of God to say this. His wife let Roger know, maybe how to fix himself. The King of the Gods thinks it's scary. It's more appropriate to leave it to Sun Wukong, so that I can be considered out of the way. Don't worry, Lord Kaiwangshan, Gohan and I will definitely work hard. Sun Wukong nodded solemnly. More than an hour later. Kaiwangshan-sama, the divine sword has been drawn, and Gohan and I can wield the divine sword with ease, but the power has only increased a little, so I am afraid that it will not be able to beat Renbu. Sun Wukong shook his head. Dad, can't you beat him even if you become a Super Saiyan Tier 3? Sun Wufan looked up at Sun Wukong. I think it's a lot worse. Sun Wukong pondered. Will Dad let Grandpa teach us to become that Super Tien God? I think that would defeat Boo. Sun Gohan proposes. I'm afraid not. Sun Wukong shook his head slightly. Your grandfather is the Super Saiyan God who transformed into a Super Saiyan after practicing for 1,000 years. We don't have that much time to practice. Besides, we can't live that long. Sun Gohan doesn't speak. It's really out of play. This is the legendary divine sword. Did it only increase such a little power? Kaiwangshan is also a little puzzling. No matter, let's try the sharpness of this sword, maybe it can quickly cut Boo into pieces. Sun Wukong praised Sun Wukong, who was holding the sword, and said if Sun Wukong stepped forward and raised a mountain of rocks. Kaiwangshan, Wukong, you have to try the sharpness of this sword, at least use this one. Kaiwang God said that there is a black cube in his hand. This is the toughest steel stone in the universe, try it with this. Yep, Sun Wukong nodded. Kaiwang Shen threw the steel stone to Sun Wukong. Gohan, use this sword to open the number 1 of this steel stone, Sun Wukong shouted, and threw the steel stone to the good father of Sun Wufan. Sun Wufan was engrossed, and he tightened the sword, Sun Wufan, to face it. Steel stone slashed with a sword. Click. The divine sword made a crisp sound and disconnected from the middle. What? The eyeballs of the Kaiwang God almost popped out. It broke. The legendary sword is so unbearable, so Sun Wukong and Sun Wuhan are also very surprised. At this moment, a piece of smoke came out of the broken sword. Qingyan quickly condensed and formed, and turned into a wretched old man who appeared behind the 3 of them. The old realm king coughed. The 3 were startled, and quickly turned to look at the old god of the realm. Who are you? The realm king asked. I am the Kaiwang god before the 15th generation. The old Kaiwang Shinto. It's really sad. I thought it would be our young Kaiwang god who pulled out the divine sword, but I didn't expect it to be a mortal Kaiwang god. Surprised, delighted, and ashamed at the same time. Simply chat. The old Kaiwangshan also has a general understanding of the current era. So, do you want to defeat that guy called Boo? The old realm king said with a smile. You guys have found the right person. I am very powerful. If there is a guy who is afraid of my ability and seals me up, I will not sleep for so many years. Sun Wukong threw a Qigong wave and hit the face of the old world king god. The old world king god fell to the ground at that time, furious. What are you doing? You scared the shit out of me. The old god of the realm shouted loudly that you didn't say that you are very powerful, and it doesn't seem to be great. Sun Wukong smiled embarrassedly. Idiot. Goods. I'm talking about my ability 473 is very powerful. The old Kaiwangshan hummed. I can channel your potential energy. Awesome, right? Worship me. Sun Wufan World King God. You three unfamiliar guys. I'm talking about depth guidance. The old king was so angry that his nose was crooked, and he waved to Sun Wufan. Boy, come here. You pulled out the divine sword. I decided to guide your energy to make you powerful. Ah, can you do it? Sun Wufan thinks this old guy is not very reliable. What do you mean I can do it? You underestimate me, kid, I'm a god. The old realm king scolded the greatest god in the universe angrily. Is there a great Roger? Sun Wufan asked Roger. Who is it? Why haven't I heard of the name of the old world king scratching his head? Is it great? Grandfather, don't you know Roger? Jia Wangshan hurriedly stepped forward and asked if he didn't know. Is he very powerful? He is also a Zhuang god. Seeing that Zion was so nervous, the old Zhuang god asked this. God Manual, old ancestor, have you seen it? Xian stepped forward and handed the sacred book with both hands. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 204 Lao Ji Wangshan, The Gods. Fake. God Spectrum. What? The old king of the realm gave Zion a right look and took over, God, and opened it a minute later. What's the mess? We Kaiwangshan and God of Destruction are on the same level, okay. This thing is fake, old Jia Wangshan said, and directly threw the God book 3 inches aside to the fake one. Xian's face changed slightly, and the whole person was not very calm. Is Roger lying? I had a conversation with someone who was in need of a technician, and the one that broke Wang's eye was that it was rough and liquid. Is it true that the divine position of Kaio God is supposed to be on the same level as the God of Destruction? Are we on par with the God of Destruction? Kaiwang God feels that the dawn is coming and there are angels. It says that angels have a higher status than us. Angels are relatively special living beings, but their status in the realm of the gods can only be equivalent to destroying the gods. How could he be taller than us? Therefore, the so-called Shen Fu is fake. Old Jia Wangshan paced back and forth with his hands behind his back, snorted and jumped over quickly. In the Shen Fu, the father and son of Sun Wukong and Sun Wufan, who are stepping hard on the top, have nothing to do with themselves, and the right to watch the drama. The old realm king coughed and added a sentence to the realm king. The king's expression froze at that time. You old thing. Can you just finish the sentence in one go? The king of the world raised his foot and did not dare to step on it anymore. Don't worry, no matter how it changes, the god of the realm and the god of destruction are equal. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this. The old god of the realm smiled and comforted. I trample you. The ankle of Kaiwangshan, this divine manual, feels like stepping on Roger under his feet. You said that the god named Roger was an archangel? Asked the old king of the realm. That's what he said himself. The realm king nodded. I have lived for such a long time, and I have never heard of the divine position of the archangel. The old Kaiwangshan shook his head, looked at Kaiwangshan and asked, by the way, where is Roger now? Earth. Yes, the old ancestor, he is on Earth. Where is the exact location of the Earth? The old realm asked again. I don't know the exact location. The realm shook his head. Are you guys talking about Roger? Sun Wukong came over at this time and asked, do you want to find him? The realm and the old realm nodding together. It's great, I'll bring him here. Sun Wukong said excitedly. Goku teleported and disappeared in a flash. The king of the realm, the old king of the realm. You two look at me, I look at you, I don't know what to say for a while. The two realm gods plan to investigate and investigate well, at least to know Roger's true identity. Who knows that the second-hand Sun Wukong brought Roger directly here? Both are a little confused. Goku teleported and appeared beside Roger in a flash. Roger. Sun Wukong waved his hand. What's the matter? Roger asked. Haha, how can I say it? Listen to my dad, you are very powerful, and you are still a very great god. Sun Wukong scratched his head and said, also, my dad still calls you master. So, you have to call me master too. Roger laughs at Sun Wukong. Are you here for this? Roger asked. No, it's the Realm King God and the old Realm King God who want to find you. Sun Wukong said, shall I take you to the realm of the realm of the realm? Are they looking for me? I will go to the realm of the king. Roger sneered, you go back and tell them, let them come and see me right away. Otherwise, what the consequences will be, let them think about it for themselves. Sun Wukong nodded. Immediately afterwards, Sun Wukong looked at Roger with a warlike expression on his face. How? Still want to challenge me? Roger sees what Sun Wukong means. Hey, I really want to know, Roger, how powerful you are. Sun Wukong grinned. Go back and tell the two realm gods, let them come to see me immediately, and then I will take you to a place where you can defeat this person before you are qualified to challenge me. Roger pondered and said that Roger felt that it was time to find an opportunity to make Sun Wukong stronger. Roger, the person you're talking about isn't Boo, is it? Sun Wukong asked if it was not. Roger replied that Boo's words should be handed over to Gohan and Bei Gungan, it's not a big problem. It's easy to say. Sun Wukong was excited for a while. Sun Wukong disappeared through teleportation in just a few seconds, and Sun Wukong came back. King God Realm. Two realm gods, look at me, and I look at you. Old ancestor, what should I do? The Realm King is completely out of ideas, let's go and have a look. The old Realm King replied. So, do we teleport in the past? The Realm King asked. Of course. The old Realm God glared. Zhuang Shen pulled the old Jia Wangshen through teleportation and appeared beside Roger. When the old Jia Wangshen saw Roger, he shook his head lightly at the Jia Wangshen, meaning he had never seen such a thing before. God. I heard that you were looking for me. Roger asked. Sun Wukong walked away very wisely. Although Sun Wukong seems to be very nervous, he often shows a dry emotional intelligence when it comes to some big things. Say, what is the matter with me? Asked Roger, looking at the two kaiju gods. The two realm gods did not speak. What's up? The two want to find out Roger's status. But this kind of thing can't always be said directly, can it? In case Roger's god status is really high, it would be very disrespectful. The old king of the gods had been sleeping for too long, and when he woke up, he didn't even know about the changes in the gods or the good promises. During the period of time he was sealed, the god realm had new changes and it was unknown why. Don't you say. Okay, I'll speak for you. Roger smiled. Old King God, you just came out of the seal, right? Xian, did you show the God book to the old world King God? Then, the old god of the realm said, my god position is really nothing. Am I right? Ahem, I have indeed been asleep for a long time, god position or something, I just said it casually, don't take it seriously. The old realm king laughed dryly. Old Kaio god, before you fell asleep, Kaio god and god of destruction were equal. Roger looked at the old world king Shinto. You and the god of destruction are a contradictory body, one advocates destruction, the other advocates creation, contradicting each other, but living beings have mutual connections. This has also created some disputes between the two of you. It is precisely because of this that Beerus sealed you up a long time ago, am I right? The old realm king stopped talking. Talent. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 205 Kneel for me well. Old ancestor, you were sealed by the god of destruction. Jia Wangshen asked ha ha ha, the old days, not to mention. The old king of the realm smiled shyly. Didn't you say that the person who sealed you was afraid of your superpower? The Kaiwang god asked again. Of course, Beerus sealed me up because he was afraid of my superpowers. I was right, the old Kaiwang god stared at me. As much as you talk. A superpower that makes you stronger. The Realm King asked. What Beerus is afraid of is that if I die, he has to disappear and die with me. The old Realm God is very proud. The Realm King gave the old realm a blank eye and stopped talking. Roger is right. Long ago, the realm and the god of destruction were different because of their different ideas, so it was very easy. There was a conflict. The old king nodded. Your gods were indeed equal in your time, that is, 75 million years ago, but as time goes on, more and more gods believe that equal gods will only make Kaiwang and destruction worse. Too many conflicts are very detrimental to the entire universe, and even to the god realm. Roger continued, so, starting from the last 10 million years, the god realm has promulgated the relevant ranking of the gods, and decided to judge the level of the gods according to the level of strength. What? The face of the old king god changed slightly. The 640 formulation of this kind of god position has led to the appearance of the god of destruction after the god of destruction above the god of the king, and even the god of destruction. Roger continued, so then god realm changed the ranking of the gods again, and swapped the gods of the god of destruction and the god of kings, that is, the current god book, basically formed. So, because of the reason of being the god of destruction, Angel is ranked above the god of destruction. The old god of the realm asked, am I? The god of the old realm stopped talking. Kaiwang Shen suddenly had a bad feeling. By the way, what about the divine harmony I gave you? Asked Roger. This realm king shook his head. Wouldn't you put my god book on the ground and stomped on it hard? Roger asked the world king with a smile, and his heart thumped, and his face became more and more ugly. I was right, Roger said coldly. He stepped on it, I didn't. The old world king hurriedly pointed at Xian and cleared himself up. Roger squinted his eyes and turned to the right. The real king was terrified and his body trembled. I said this BGDC, so much. In fact, I just wanted to make your kneeling position more comfortable. Roger suddenly realized with a smile on his face. The realm king god, almost without the slightest resemblance, immediately knelt down and waited for me to come back and then think about what to do with you. Roger reprimanded, as for you, old guy, for the sake of your age, I won't care about you this time. Go back and guide Sun Wufan's potential energy. Don't be lazy. Yes, the old realm king hurriedly replied. Goku, you come. Roger waved at Sun Wukong, who was silently watching the artificial lake from a distance, and Sun Wukong came quickly. Send this old guy back. Roger ordered. Okay. Sun Wukong glanced at the real-world king who was kneeling on the ground, didn't say anything, and immediately disappeared with the old real-world king god. Soon, Sun Wukong came back through teleportation. Wukong, go to Kaiwang, ask where the Wampa planet is, and then teleport over there. I will wait for you on that planet. Roger said to Sun Wukong, and then scolded the Kaiwang god. You kneel down for me. Kaiwang Shen lowered his head, and did not catch his breath. Roger turned into a dazzling colorful flame, broke open the virtual room, and disappeared quickly in a flash. Don't mention how surprised Sun Wukong is. All right. Now is not the time to be surprised. I have to leave to find the Wampa Planet Monkey King. As for defeating Boo, since Roger said that he would leave it to Gohan and Vegeta, there should be no problem. Sun Wukong appeared in the Kingdom of Heaven through teleportation, Wukong beside the real king. Are you resurrected? The king looked at Wukong and said. Haha yeah, it was Roger who brought me back to life. Sun Wukong scratched his head and laughed. Speaking of which, I've always been curious about what kind of god Roger is, and it can actually bring you back to life. Realm King Ruiyu thought. Sun Wukong and Zhuang have a very good relationship. There are some things that Zhuang can say to Sun Wukong, but not to him. Others said that Lord Zhuang must not talk nonsense. Before, Lord Zhuangshan talked about Roger in the realm of Zhuangshan, as if saying that Roger's status was not as high as he said. Sun Wukong lowered his voice and looked at Zhuang. Wang asked, do you know what happened after that? What's wrong? The king asked. Right now, Lord Kaiwangshan is still kneeling at Bulma's house. Sun Wukong raised his head and the king of the realm shivered, and his face turned pale in an instant. Is the divine position of Kaiwang god so different from Roger? Originally, the real king guessed that Roger's divine position was relatively high, but no matter how high it was, How high could he be higher than the realm king? Now it seems that the real king found that he still underestimated Roger's divine position. Even the dignified realm god your lord, you have to kneel at Roger's place. This also means that Roger's god status is at least 3 levels higher than that of Kaiwang god. By the way, Lord Kai, do you know where the Wampa planet is? Asked Sun Wukong. Wampa planet. Wukong, what are you doing with the planet Wampa? The king asked Roger in a puzzled way that he wanted to wait for me on that planet. Sun Wukong said. Okay, I'll find it for you. The king nods. Earth, deep in the mountains. The battle between Basie and Vegeta has come to an end. Both have varying degrees of injuries. At this point, the two were sitting on the ground. Hey, did you offend Roger? Vegeta asked what Basie meant. Basie asked back. If I didn't offend him, how could he let me pull out your tail? Vegeta laughed at the tragic guy. The tail was pulled out forcibly. Vegeta feels pain just thinking about it. I don't remember when I offended him. Basie pondered that it's impossible, you think about it. Vegeta said. Basie thought about it seriously. Roger seemed to have asked me to beat up the Kaiwang god before, but I refused, so why didn't the grating offend him? Asked Basie. Now it's right. Vegeta nodded, otherwise Roger will definitely let you practice the tail instead of letting me pull it out for you. Basie. Let me tell you, Roger is very careful, you must pay attention. Vegeta lowered her voice, for fear that Roger would know. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 206 Wukong, Survive on Planet Wampa. Humph, you are the one who should pay attention. Basie smiled. After 3 months, I will leave here and return to my era. I am afraid I will never meet again in the future. Speaking of this, you said the other one is called Pei Shen. Vegeta asked. Yes, that's how the person named Wes named the other me. Basie nodded and said that guy is going to practice in the direction of the Super Saiyan God. Vegeta guessed thoughtfully. Are you talking about Bardock's transformation? Basie was really shocked when he saw Bardock's transformation. Vegeta nods. If that's the case, do you think that the giant ape can be transformed and can defeat him? Basie is a little unsure of himself. At least for now, even if I become a giant ape, I'm afraid it's not Bardock's right. Vegeta shook his head. The main reason is that Bardock has been cultivating for too long, and his basic combat power is higher than mine. And I still don't know. His Super Saiyan God is his basic strength. In fact, no matter how many times, I don't think it matters. Basie stood up and said, the important thing is that I can cultivate here and you can become my opponent. I'm very excited. Basie's heavy punch bombarded Vegeta's waist. The battle between the two started again. The next moment, the flames of Basie's hands flashed, and an artificial full moon appeared in the sky. 2 Vegeta turned into golden giant apes at the same time. In this mountainous area, you punched me and climbed to compare for 4 years. 4 years. Pelagus called out to my father, are you a repeater? Broly said suddenly. Paragus turned his head and glared at Broly. Since this tortoise son left Wampa planet Yijiao, he has talked a lot since he came back, so I didn't say anything. Broly quickly closed. Broly, it's all your fault. Why didn't you take me to live on Earth? Paragus is still brooding over what happened before. I thought you liked this planet more, father. Broly replied, what is there about this planet? Why do I like this planet? Broly smiled. Even if this planet is not bad, at least the paradise you mentioned, Paragus, feels tired when you think about it. The paradise Broly said is gone. In other words, Broly went out. Yijiao, nothing has changed since I came back. There has been a change. The only thing that changed was that Broly was a little more cheerful than before, which Paragus didn't want to see. Paragus wants to control Broly completely. Now that Broly has a mind of his own, he finds it unpleasant. What is that? Broly raised his eyes and saw the colorful flames flying from a distance. What? It feels so familiar. Broly had a little surprise. At this time, Roger fell from the sky and landed on the ground. Roger, is that you? Brawley looked at Roger excitedly. Roger, is that the god who took you away? Paragus also felt that happiness came too suddenly. Brawley nodded. Paragus didn't even think about it. He knelt down in front of Roger. God Roger, please take us away from this star. Paragus bowed down and said, I heard Brawley say that he prefers to live on this planet. Why do you want to leave? Roger looked at Paragus and asked. God Roger, I don't like this kind of life, I prefer a human planet. Paragus said hurriedly. What about the paradise I created for you? Asked Roger. This accidentally broke, and was eaten by a monster. Brawley scratched his head. Why didn't he say it earlier? Contact me early, and I'll just give you another Lexus. Roger pretended to be surprised that I wanted to contact you. But I don't have your contact information. That's all, the past is over, and it's useless to say more. Roger said lightly, I'm here this time to give you a chance to leave this planet. I hope you can take advantage of God Roger. What chance? Pelagas asked excitedly. What do we need to do? Later, a man named Sun Wukong will come to this planet and repair him well for me, as long as he doesn't kill Roger, said Roger. After a while, I will come and pick you up and ask for flowers. Sun Wukong. Okay, understand. Brawley nodded. Isn't that enough to fix one person? I can do this. Well, good luck to you all. Roger smiled slightly, turned into a colorful flame, and quickly disappeared. Then, Roger appeared thousands of miles away from the Wampa planet, and burst into a little breath of heaven. I found it. The Wampa planet is in that position. The king pointed at Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong nodded and began to sense the breath in the direction of the planet Wampa. However, Brawley did not burst into breath at this time. It was difficult for Sun Wukong to sense his presence. After a while, Sun Wukong sensed another breath and forgot to find it. Let's go first. Sun Wukong greeted the king of the realm, and in a flash, he appeared beside Roger. Coming. Roger greets. That powerful aura belongs to you, Roger. Sun Wukong looked at Roger and was a little surprised. Isn't there no aura on your body? Divine power can be transformed into human breath. Roger smiled. What is this place? The environment doesn't seem very good. Sun Wukong nodded, then looked around Wuhan. What you have to do is simple, survive on this planet. Roger patted Sun Wukong's survival. Is it that simple? Sun Wukong thinks it's easy. Is the difficulty of this game the easiest? Don't come back without my permission. Roger told Dao Roger to stop talking, and immediately turned into a dazzling colorful flame. I'm about to leave and I will send you back. Roger. Sun Wukong said. Roger ignored it, broke open the void, and disappeared. Let Sun Wukong send himself back. It's better to fly by yourself. Sun Wukong took a deep breath. He was only able to explore this planet very quickly, and Sun Wukong was attacked by monsters. So strong, this monster is interesting. Sun Wukong was so excited that he started to fight with the monster. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 207 Sun Wukong's first battle with Brawley. A monster of this level, Sun Wuxi has nothing to worry about, and he will destroy the opponent without becoming a Super Saiyan. Goku exhaled. However, the next moment, Sun Wukong also became wary immediately. Sun Wukong suddenly saw that two people appeared in the air in front of him. One of them, although not bursting out of breath, was a dangerous signal for the birth of Sun Wukong. Bardock. Brawley muttered softly, then shook his head. Not Bardock, but Bardock's son. Hello, I didn't expect humans to live on this planet. Sun Wukong warmly greeted you for killing our pets. Tell me, how do you compensate us? Pelagas with black eyes. Is this your pet? I don't know, I'm really sorry. Sun Wukong hands over. May 17th, less nonsense, pay for your life. Brawley snorted coldly, and suddenly called out in the direction of Sun Wukong. Wukong's pupils shrank, and he was immediately ready for battle. Brawley rushed forward, pressed Sun Wukong's head, and smashed heavily on the ground, showing a crack-like shape, and the cracks extended all around. Sun Wukong made a sound of repair. Brawly grabbed Sun Wukong's ankle and beat Sun Wukong back and forth, left and right, but he felt that his internal organs and 6 brains seemed to be misplaced, and many little stars appeared in front of him. Immediately after, Sun Wukong felt that his heart was also being the other party bombarded the heavy master, and Sun Wukong spat out a mouthful of blood at that time. However, Sun Wukong's reaction was also extremely fast, and his body rolled rapidly on the ground. Sun Wukong accidentally rolled into a huge caterpillar-like monster in an unidentified liquid lake. He took a bite and directly bit Sun Wukong in his mouth. Sun Wukong struggled desperately. It's just that the caterpillar seems to have more strength. The caterpillar swallowed Sun Wukong in one bite. Brawly's eyelids became more difficult. Paragus also looked stunned. He was eaten. Pelaga's heart sank. Is he that weak? Brawly smiled wryly. I haven't used the power of the giant ape yet. How did you get beat up like this by me? So boring. Didn't Roger God say it? Don't kill him, Paragus said in a low silence. I didn't kill him, he was eaten by that guy. Brawly has a big head. He's dead, and God Roger won't take us away. You idiot, Paragus said angrily. Blame me, it was he who was not careful. Brawly snorted coldly, a little upset. It's you who is too ruthless. You fought so hard as soon as you came up, who can beat you? The son of the angry turtle of Pelagas is getting worse and worse. Learn to talk back. He used to be very obedient. I overestimated him, said Brawly with a dark face. You idiot, Goods. It's all your fault, you are too heavy. Then we will stay on this planet forever. Paragus cursed. Originally, Harajas rarely scolded Brawly. Peak's previous hopes were dashed, and scolding was useless, but now, Paragus saw the hope of leaving this planet. As a result, the people who came up to challenge Brawly made Brawly unhappy when he killed Paragaston 3 times and 2 times. You call me an idiot? Brawly snorted coldly, grabbed Paragus by the collar, and pulled you out of the air. What are you doing, Brawly? Do you want to kill your father? Paragus was shocked and angry. Kill you? What can you do? Brawly sneered. Saiyans are always strong, and they can kill even their biological fathers without hesitation if they don't like them. Paragus' pupils were full of bloodshots, his body trembled and his face became extremely ugly. 4 years ago, I had done my duty as a son. Broly said lightly, my fighting power is much better than yours, but you beat me up because of a happy land. I didn't say anything, and I didn't fight back, because I think you are my father, and my father beat me. Son, it's normal that Pelagas didn't speak. Brawly completely changed. But now, you insult me, you make me sick. Brawly said coldly. Paragus gnashed his teeth, speechless. Brawly throws Paragus on the ground. Since I was very young, you have put on me that kind of necklace with a strong electric current. You just want to control me, Brawly said coldly. Now, you are insulting me again for this person's death. Paragus clenched his fists. Brawly, get smart. He's completely out of his control. In the process of arguing between the father and son, the huge caterpillar suddenly rolled violently and emitted a golden light. Then, a golden light erupted from the caterpillar's body. Sun Wukong transformed into a Super Saiyan, from the caterpillar's body. After wearing it, Sun Wukong took a deep breath. It was very dangerous, and they were all eaten. Sun Wukong checked his body and found that there were no missing parts, so he wiped a cold sweat and breathed a sigh of relief. The huge caterpillar was not dead yet, and chased towards Sun Wukong again. Sun Wukong flew with a kick and kicked the caterpillar's head. The caterpillar was dizzy and fell to the ground. Great, he's still alive. After Zaragas got to the Monkey King who was alive in 4 and 9, I was so excited. Super Fayar. Brawly smiled and looked at Monkey King from a distance. As expected of Bardock's son, he is a little thoughtful. Oh, is he Bardock's son? Paragus has nothing to say. Brawly doesn't answer. Can you not know Bardock? Take care of you. You are more powerful than I thought. Broly looked at Sun Wukong with a smile. So did you. Sun Wukong smiled slightly. I underestimated you, but this time, I won't let you defeat so easily. So, let's continue, Brawly chuckled. Yecho, home of Bardock. Rabans, are you really not participating in the Boo affair this time? Bardock asked. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 208 Bardock. If it wasn't for Roger, could I be absorbed? Dad, it suddenly occurred to me that I have one more important thing to do. Raditz hurriedly opened a drink to challenge Boo. What? Asked the joke. I didn't see that Kakarot has become the third rank of Super Saiyan. Didn't he get beaten by Boo? Dad, you taught me to become a Super Saiyan god. That way, I can go and clean up Boo. Bardock, no matter how much Raditz cultivates, he is probably not Boo's opponent. Since you know it, why do you want him to practice? Asked Jain. If Saiyans don't practice cultivation, what's the point? Bardock shook his head slightly and didn't know how Kakarot and Gohan were cultivating at Kaiwang God. Jain whispered, looking up at the sky, where is Kaiwang God realm? Don't be naive, you can't see it. Bardock laughed. Bardock, are you saying that Kakarot and Gohan can really defeat Boo after they become stronger in Kaio Divine Realm? Jean is still not very optimistic. You are so powerful, haven't you been absorbed by Boo? This Boo is a monster. He can't beat people and absorb people. I think no one can beat him except the master. Bardock. Hearing that Jain said that he was absorbed by Boo, Bardock's 16 complexion is a bit unattractive. Do you really think that if I am so strong, I will be absorbed by Boo? That's Roger's secret mischief, okay. But it's not easy for Bardock to explain this kind of thing. If Roger finds out, he might dig a hole and wait for him. Jain, the thing I regret the most right now is that I shouldn't have attacked people while sending Kakarot away. Bardock stared deeply and let out a long sigh. In fact, Bardock, you should think in the best way. Jain comforted, at least, we are all still alive, it is better than dead. Jain, you don't understand, you can understand 1,000 years of lonely life. Bardock shook his head, but then again, Bardock, since you went back 1,000 years and met the ancestors of Saiyans, didn't you find a girl you like? Jain laughs. Bardock glanced right at Jean and said nothing. Just kidding, hee hee. Jean smiled. Sun Wukong and Brawly's battle continues. Although Sun Wukong has become a Super Saiyan, but compared with Brawly, it is only a tie. Sun Wukong found that the energy recovery ability of the opponent far exceeds his own. Come again. Sun Wukong was very excited. Golden light bloomed all over his body, and arcs jumped out of the second rank of Super Saiyan. For a time, after Sun Wukong became the second-tier Super Saiyan, he had a little bit of an upper hand. But soon, Brawly was equal to Sun Wukong's strength. Impressive. Sun Wukong gritted his teeth. With long golden hair reaching his waist, he turned into a third-order Super Saiyan. Brawly glanced at Sun Wukong silently. This is my strongest transformation. You have to be careful. Sun Wukong clenched his head tightly, his long hair swaying in the wind. Sun Wukong launched a violent attack on Brawly. Brawly was beaten back step by step, only to parry. With a heavy kick from Sun Wukong, he kicked Brawly's chest with a muffled sound. Brawly's body was bombarded on the ground like a cannonball, and the entire planet shook. Even Brawly's body sank directly into the ground. Into the earth, leaving a deep hole in the ground. Did I hit too hard? 7 inches. Sun Wukong pulled his head. The next moment, Sun Wukong saw Brawly slowly rise from the big fill. Brawly raised his head slightly and looked at Sun Wukong with a smile. Haha, it's fine, we'll come again. Sun Wukong's Vietnam War is more and more prosperous. Brawly's burst of energy. In an instant, Bu Suili's body became burly and turned into a muscular man. What? Monkey King's face discolored. Brawly came quickly towards Sun Wukong. Boom! Monkey King attacked Brawly. However, what shocked Sun Wukong was that his attack was ineffective against Brawly at all. Brawly stepped forward and grabbed Sun Wukong's head, and hit the ground again. Then, Brawly pressed Sun Wukong's head. Head, move forward as a bulldozer on this earth. 10 seconds later. Sun Wukong is back to normal. You are too weak. Broly raised Sun Wukong high, sneered, and then threw Sun Wukong into the air with one hand. Broly kicked out. Goku is flying. Sun Wukong doesn't know where he was kicked. You want to kick him to death. Paragus couldn't help saying. If he died so easily, he was out of luck. Broly smiled softly. King God Realm. Go back to 10 minutes ago. The old king of the gods had both hands facing Son Gohan and was channeling his potential energy. When Son Gohan became the third rank of Super Saiyan, Son Gohan almost stood up and didn't move. If you move around, it will only prolong the time. Old Kaiwang God sighed and said that it was Dad's breath. Dad has become a third-tier Super Saiyan. Who is Dad fighting? Is it Buu the Lien Ren? Son Gohan asked worriedly. Forget it, enough for you to see, said the old world king. A crystal ball suddenly appeared in his hand and placed it beside him. On the crystal ball, the scene of Sun Wukong and Broly fighting on the Wampa planet immediately appeared. Who is that person? Son Gohan doesn't know Broly at all. However, after realizing that his father had the upper hand, Sun Wukong breathed a sigh of relief. However, in the next moment, Sun Wukong saw tragically that the other party's body had also changed, and then his father was given to the other party by the other party. Brutally tortured. Dad, Son Gohan exclaimed. When I looked again, Sun Wukong had passed out on that strange planet. Son Gohan was very anxious. Do you want to save your father? Then improve your abilities well. Only when your abilities are improved can you defeat that person. The old realm king sighed. Who is he? Sun Wukong was surprised. I don't know if this person is stronger than Buu after he became a Super Saiyan. He slept too long. Old Realm King God scratches his head. Old Realm King God, I will cooperate well. Sun Wukong raised his head and stared at Old Realm King God. His expression became more and more solemn. Bulma's home. Roger sipped the tea and smiled as he looked at the king of the realm who was kneeling on the ground. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 209 Biddy Lee. I'm going to practice in the God realm. Roger didn't speak either, just let the king of the world kneel. After that, Roger glanced at Bulma. He's been on his knees for almost an hour, and he already knows he's wrong, or spare him Roger. Bulma knew what Roger meant and said it quickly. I knew it was wrong, God Roger, I dared not. Kaiwangshan also immediately admits his mistakes and knows his mistakes can improve a lot. Get up. Roger nodded and the kings stood up. Go back. Go back. Roger waved. Yes, God Roger. Jia Wangshen bowed and saluted, took a few steps back, and then returned to Banglong by teleporting. At this moment, the Bulma family trembled violently. Even the teapot on the table was poured, and when the tea was poured out of it, Bulma exclaimed, an unsteady one, trampled down in Roger's arms. Did it shake? Bulma's eyelid discoloration. No, it's that Buu guy who's doing the sabotage. Roger said, a city 600 kilometers away from here has already been destroyed by him. That looks like Satan City. Bulma's mouth trembled. I made such a big move that I lost all my tea, and I'm a little bit arrogant. Roger pondered and said, I'll teach him a lesson. Roger said, turned into a bright colorful flame, quickly disappeared, but in a flash, Roger appeared in Buu's position. Roger did not stop, and directly used the scepter on his head. Knocked up, then turned a corner and waited until Roger returned to the reclining chair and sat down again, and Buu fainted softly on the ground. Roger sent Buu a sap, and then he coming back is just a blink of an eye. Well, Buu has passed out, and when Son Gohan's energy rises, he will basically wake up, Roger said. Can Gohan be able to surpass Goku under the guidance of that old man? Bulma asked. Roger nodded with a smile. Satan City. On the right is the city that has become a waste, and Satan knelt down at my home at that time. No more. Satan burst into tears. Biddy Lee also stared blankly at the city that had turned into a flat land. For a moment, she was speechless and choked on her father. There seemed to be someone over there. Biddy Lee pointed to the distance. The father and daughter hurriedly went up to take a look. The pink-skinned person is also very strange. and it is the first time I have seen such a strange guy. Satan looked at Boo, who was already dizzy, and thought about it. Always feel a little hot. Bidley pondered, I remember Dad was beaten to death by a pink fat man. Biddy Lee, how many times my father has said that my father is not dead, but just had a dream. Sudan reprimanded, okay, not dead. Bidley didn't argue with my father that this guy passed out. Satan said. Still a little suspicious, the whole city is gone, why is he still alive? Biddy Lee shook her head slightly and guessed, he won't destroy the city, right? Satan got Bidley one. Brief silence. Biddy Lee, you are still young, don't you always think people are so scary, okay? Satan sighs, I'm already in junior high school, I'm not young. Biddy Lee snorted, let's take him to a place to settle down first, I can't leave him alone. Dan is still kind-hearted after all. Papa, go and settle him. But Biddy Lee looked far away, with tenacity written on Zishi's face, then smiled slightly, looked at King Satan and said, Dad, I have already decided, I'm going to practice. I want to become stronger. What did you say? What nonsense. Satan scolded, Dad is the strongest. You are enough to practice with Dad. Maybe Dad is the strongest human being, but Dad may not have seen God, right? Biddy Lee smiled, God. In you Dan's mind, Roger's appearance appeared in Zhongdi. That young man, with such a real face, is really God. Am I really dead? Satan is a little confused for a while. Father, I have seen God. I have seen him. Very handsome. Biddy Lee's hole is full of habit and rubbed the school head. I decided, I'm going to find him. I want to find him when I want to practice with him. I will become stronger. The person who can resurrect the Father is not God, what is it? Don't be stupid, Biddy Lee, let's not say whether there is a God in this world, even if there is, why does he teach you to? What are your specialties? Satan asked. I am beautiful. Biddy Lee blinked and Baton suddenly realized that her daughter had grown up. Bidley, do you know where this God you are talking about is? How are you going to find it? Dan asked his father. Do you know why Universal Capsules has become the world's largest company in such a short period of time? And Dr. Brives and his daughter, Miss Bulma, also became the richest man in the world. How did they do it? Bidley asked with a smile. That mature smile, and her immature face, seemed a little out of harmony, or was it because of the invention of the omnipotent capsule? That was a great invention that changed the world. I don't think it's a surprise to Satan. I don't think so, said Bidley. I saw God with Bulma. What? God and Bulma together? Satan was surprised. Dad understands now. Why did Dr. Brives invent the universal capsule? He was honored by God, and with God's help, why couldn't he invent something? Biddy Lee smiled and said, so I thought, as long as you go to the headquarters of the Universal Capsule Company, you will definitely be able to find God's Satan. He stayed silent for a while. Bidley, if you really want to go, Dad will accompany you. Once a sigh, the home is gone. Did Zhao, the world is so big that Satan doesn't know where to go. Why don't you go to God with your daughter? Maybe, you will really get God's favor and get a better chance. No, I want to go by myself. It will be insincere to go with my father. Biddy Lee shook her head and was rejected. Dad, then I am gone, and one day my daughter will become a god too. Bidley's expression is firm, and Satan doesn't know what to say. Maybe I didn't pay enough attention to my daughter before. Before I knew it, my 11-year-old daughter was already so mature. Biddy Lee took out an all-purpose capsule and threw it out. The universal capsule becomes a suspended thick cart. Dad, I'll be back as soon as possible. Biddy Lee waved her hand and watched the back of her daughter leave. Satan sniffed, tears welling in her eyes. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 210 Biddy Lee, I just need a servant girl. Bulma's home. A robot came and told Bulma that there was a little girl at the door who wanted to see her little girl. How old was she? Bulma asked. Come on, let me see the sight. The robot quickly put out the video of the door. Bulma saw Biddy Lee standing at the door. Who is this girl? She is Satan's daughter Bidiri. Roger glanced. Ludin's daughter. Satan. Is that the fake hero who said he saved the world in the Sharu game? Bulma remembered it and asked with a smile. Yes, it's him. Roger nodded. His daughter came to find me. Why? I have nothing to do with her. Bulma shook her head, maybe not looking for you, but for me. Roger smiled and looked for you. Bulma is puzzled. She has seen me and thinks that I have great powers. 80% of the time she wants to follow me to practice. Roger guessed that. Roger, are you going to let her in? Bulma asked. Since she has found this place, it is considered a fate, let her come in. Roger nodded. 097 Bulma let the robot take Bidili into his yard. When Bidili saw Roger, her eyes lit up immediately. She stepped forward quickly, bowed to see God. Bidili said in surprise. Sure enough, my guess was correct. The one who is straight is in Bulma. Do you want to cultivate? Roger looked at Bidili. Yes, God, I'm going to be stronger. Bidili raised her head and looked directly at Suji. Too many things happened today. I thought I was already very strong. I thought I was the daughter of Dan, the daughter of the world champion. The world is big, except for my father. I am the most powerful. But I was wrong. I found that I am the frog in the bottom of the well. Could it be beyond the bottom of the well? The world champion was crushed to death in one fell swoop. At that moment, Bidil felt that something like a world champion was just a joke. I want to become stronger, and I want to protect the world. Bidili said with a solemn expression that you go back. Even if you become stronger, there is no way to protect this world. Roger said. Why? Bidili asked in surprise. In this world, some people are more powerful than you can imagine. Roger said, with your aptitude, no matter how hard you try, you can't surpass them. Kitty stopped talking. Shen, what you said is so direct, how do you ask people to answer? Can't you be more polite? I don't go back, I want to follow you. Bidili squatted at the wall, looked at Roger and said, I want to know the world again. Suddenly remembered, I felt that I was missing a messenger girl. Roger thought for a while and looked deeply into Bidili's eyes. Smarter than Dilly Bingshe, I believe that there are many things that are more suitable for her to do. She's young. Roger, are you embarrassed? Bulma's face turned a little red. I don't know what to say. This age is just right. It's a sense of accomplishment from a young age. Roger smiled. Bulma. Since you want to follow me, you can be my servant girl. Roger said directly. Bidili, who is not a prostitute, was nervous at that time. You think too much. Who wants you to sell yourself? Roger stared. You just need to serve me by my side, make tea for me, etc. That's fine, I'll be fine. Bidili agreed without thinking, and made a cup of coffee for Roger with a long wink, and handed it to Roger. Good. Roger nods. Are you calling the girl too? Bidili turned her head and asked Bulma, do I have to call you sister? Bulma has a black face. You're a messenger. I'm not. BGDG, I don't like little girls. Bulma sighs. The daytime passes quickly. In the temporary thatched hut, Boo slowly woke up. Are you awake? Satan looked at Budo. Boo gave Satan a deep look. At the same time, in Boo's mind, some scenes after he fainted immediately came to mind. There is a little food here, you can eat whatever you want. Satan handed over a pack of cookies. Unfortunately, the city was destroyed, or we have a lot of delicious food at home. Boo bit off the cookie with the wrapper. Heck, he has to tear off the wrapping paper. Satan smiled. Boo glanced at Satan, ripped off the wrapping paper, and ate the biscuits. You can't be an alien, are you? Satan laughed and looked at Boo. Dao, what's your name? Boo asked. You don't know me. Wouldn't you really be from an alien planet? Satan was stunned. Boo's face turned gloomy. Ask your name, why are you talking so much nonsense? Or turn you into chocolate and eat it. I am Satan, and everyone on Earth knows me. What does Satan laugh into? Boo was a little hesitant. Human turned chocolate doesn't taste good. Otherwise, become peanuts, right? It's a pity that the woman didn't become a peanut last time. What are you saying? Satan didn't understand what Boo meant, so he didn't care about it. He said to himself, it's just that the world is impermanent. As a world champion, as the most powerful hero in the world, Wei Dan, my daughter is not. I'm stunned. I'm going to find a god to practice. Boo's face froze. God? What god? Boo asked. I don't know, and I don't know either. It is said that this god is with the eldest lady of the Universal Capsule Group. Satan sighed. I don't know if it's true or false. Boo shivered, his face changing color wildly. The eldest lady of the Universal Capsule Group, isn't she Bulma? God with Bulma, isn't it Roger? Does this wretched middle-aged uncle's daughter actually know Roger? Boo's whole person is not very calm. Too terrifying. I'd better run away. Boo rushed into the sky and disappeared without a trace in a flash. Finished. Old King God said to Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong was surprised and happy at the time. Lord Realm King God, how can I make the energy in my body burst out? Sun Gohan asked simple, follow the way of becoming a Super Saiyan. Old King of the World, smile, I'll try. Sun Gohan nodded. Wait a minute. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 211 Realm King God. Is this porcelain doll the king of all? A strong aura suddenly erupted from my body. Immediately, the strong air flow directly blew the old Realm King around him and flew out. Even the nearby Realm King Sheen was releasing some of his divine power, and his footsteps slipped backwards so that he would not fall down. Fly. How King Kai Wang Shen was very pleasantly surprised. It shouldn't be a problem to defeat Boo like this. You kid, you have to try it in front of me. The old Kai Wang Shen fell to the ground and said angrily, then, I'm going. Sun Wukong's expression is solemn. I will send you to Earth. The King of the Gods laughs. Earth? Who said I'm going to Earth? I'm going to the Wampa planet. Sun Wuhan insisted on the Wampa planet. What's the meaning? Kai Wangshan doesn't know about planet Wampa yet. I'm going to save my dad. Sun Gohan replied. Boy, you have to figure out the primary and secondary. The old world king reprimanded. Sun Wukong was sent to the Wampa planet by Roger. He should do this to hone your father. You saved him now, but it is not good for his cultivation. Dad was sent by Roger. Sent to planet Wampa. Sun Wukong asked in surprise, what do you think? The old realm king stared. Dad, he won't be in danger, right? Sun Wukong asked. No, the old world king said, throwing out a crystal ball on the crystal ball, and the figure of Sun Wukong immediately appeared. After a day's rest, Sun Wukong has almost recovered. Sun Gohan took a deep look at his father in the crystal ball. Well, then I'll go and defeat Boo first. Sun Wukong nodded. That's right, defeating Boo is the most important thing. Jia Wangshen smiled. I'll send you to Earth right now. What about Uncle Piccolo? Sun Wukong found that he didn't seem to see Uncle Piccolo. This is not clear. Kai Wangshen smiled awkwardly. Can I tell you, Piccolo has been sealed into marbles by Roger. I said, you won't be beaten, will you? A question in the mind of the King of Gods. Kai Wangshan dare not tell Sun Wukong the truth. It's better to pretend he doesn't know. Lord Kai Wangshan, send me to the divine Amin on Earth first. Sun Gohan suggested. Jawangshan nodded. Jawangshan took Sun Wukong and appeared on the Earth's temple in a flash. This kid will not say a word of thanks to me who has worked so hard. Meet the King of Gods. Dandy stepped forward and bowed down. Are you the god of the earth? Yes, it is the little god. Dandy replied. The Realm King just made Dandy kneel, and he didn't want to get him up. The Realm King suddenly found out that it seemed very fulfilling to have a god with a lower status than himself kneeling in front of him. Do you know where Uncle Piccolo is? Sun Wukong is not sure what to ask. Piccolo's breath disappeared a day ago. Dandy shook his head strangely. Is Uncle Piccolo dead? Sun Gohan frowned. Gohan, don't worry about this for now, let's go and destroy Boo. Kai Wang's divinity is improved. Sun Gohan nodded and cheered up. I'll go to Bu and Sun Gohan will turn into a white on and quickly swept away the god of the earth in the direction of Bu. I'll stay with you for a while, don't you object? Asked the king of the world. No objection, no objection. Dandy responded quickly. Very good. Jia Wangshen walked to the edge of the temple on his own, and looking into the distance made me get up. I'm still kneeling. Dandy wipes sweat. Dandy is hesitating. Do you want to get up? It's just that the realm king god didn't speak, so it doesn't seem appropriate to get up directly, doesn't it? God realm, all King Dion. The great priest looked in a direction, silently fascinated. High priest, what are you saving? King Quan asked curiously. Lord Quan Wong, the gods of the seventh universe are a little confused. The great priest is laughing and laughing. What do you mean? The king asked. The rhythm was deviated by that kid Roger. The great priest breathes. Roger bullies Kaio god bullies the god of the earth. Speaking of the realm gods, you said earlier that the realm gods of the seventh universe do not know us. The king suddenly nodded his head. I want to meet him and see how he reacts. The king of Quan had a whim. Grand priest, King Quan, you are enough. What are you doing with Mo? However, the king's words are orders. Ask for flowers. Then, go together, the high priest suggested. Let's go together. The king nods. The two giants said they would leave. In just a flash, the Quanwang and the great priest came to the temple of the earth. Get up, King Quan said to Dandy, who was kneeling on the ground. Who are you? Dandy was stunned. Get up when you get up, you're a bit too much nonsense. King Quan is not happy. Why don't you hurry up? Do you want to kneel all the time? The great priest Dao Dandy seemed to have vaguely sensed the terrifying divine power in the great priest, and quickly got up to thank him. Although the great priest came to earth more than once, but with Dandy's identity is not qualified to check the existence of the great priest. At this time, the realm king god also reacted immediately. God of the earth, you actually got up. Did I say get you up? The realm king turned his head to look behind, and saw the king of Quan and the great priest at a glance. Who is this porcelain doll? The king of the realm whispered, although the voice was very small, but the opposite was King Quan and the grand priest, and the two heard it at the time. Porcelain doll. The king's face darkened instantly. Otherwise, wipe this guy out. The priest also wiped his sweat. It's over, the real way of the king of God is out of play. Your name is Quanwang Porcelain Doll. Who are you? The realm king asked cautiously. These two people suddenly appeared in the temple, and I didn't know it at all. There must be something wrong with the priest. Do you want me to erase him? King Quan is a great priest with black eyelids. The realm king shuddered, and the whole person was not very calm. He is a great priest. Sugar cake. I knew earlier that I should ask the ancestors for a portrait of the gods. Lord Quanwang, you are free. The great priest nodded and the face of the king of God was condensed. The guy who he calls, Porcelain Doll, as King Quan. Is that the god currently standing at the top of the pyramid of the gods? Kidding. Must be joking. How could a god as big as King Quan come to earth? Ha 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 ha, Jia Wangshen laughed. This joke is not funny at all. Are you the king of all? I'm still in awe. Husband. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 212 The Birth of an Archangel. Ragnarok. Idiot. Fool. They are straight Lord Quanwang and Grand Priest. He knelt down quickly. At this moment, the voice of the old realm king came from the mind of the realm king. Zhawangshan was stunned but felt blank in his mind. The realm king rolled his eyes and fell straight to the ground. He fainted on the spot, so he fainted from fright. No fun at all. The king of Quan scratched his head, the great priest wiped his sweat. If you keep playing like this, the Kaiwang god of Universe 7 will be played by Roger, who is played to death by you. Now even King Quan is joining in the fun. The grand priest felt that the Kaiking god of Universe 7 was very sad. Forget it, let's go, it's so boring. King Quan shook his head. King Quan and the grand priest disappeared. Dandy and Mr. looked confused. The 377, official of the great god. Ah. Is it great? Also, why is the king of the world so dizzy? It seems that he was frightened by the two of them. Are these two gods running here to scare the king of the world? Dandy feels that he can't keep up with the rhythm of the god realm. Also, are those two people terrible? I don't understand at all. Dandy scratched his head and resisted the urge to step forward and kick the king of the world. Bulma's house. Roger suddenly looked into the distance, slightly startled. Roger, what's wrong? Asked Bulma. The king seems to have come to Earth. Roger thought. King of all. Is it the god above the gods? Bulma was very surprised. Roger nods. What did King Quan come to Earth for? Is it also for food? Bulma asked Roger. Bulma glanced right and didn't answer. Roger found us. The great priest said to King Quan, this kid is worthy of being a genius. The position of the archangel has been vacant for hundreds of millions of years. The great priest did not say a word, and his expression became a bit dignified. This time, I don't know how many gods will die. Earth. Son Gohan landed directly opposite Boo with a confident smile on his face. Is that you? I remember you being absorbed by me once. Boo looked at Gohan with a smile. You absorb only the old me. Sun Wufan's expression was indifferent. I am not so easily absorbed by you now. I don't have to absorb you. I'm going to destroy you. Boo sneered, and a powerful energy erupted from Sun Gohan's body. An endless breath spread out from Sun Wuhan's body. Boo also seemed to sense the powerful aura of Sun Gohan, and was stunned for a while, looking at Sun Gohan in a daze without blinking. Sun Gohan smiling. Sun Gohan attacked, punching through the air, hitting Boo in the abdomen. Boo spat out a mouthful of sour water. Sun Gohan jumped and kicked Boo's head. Boo flew backwards, fell to the ground, and slid quickly on the ground, leaving a long mark. Boo was shocked and jumped up quickly. However, when Boo took a closer look, he found that Sun Gohan had disappeared behind you. The voice of Sun Gohan sounded from behind Boo. Boo mechanically turned his head and looked at Sun Gohan behind him in horror. You are nothing more than that. I thought how powerful you are. Sun Gohan with a look of disdain for the idiot of the king of the gods, Shin. How can I have such a stupid junior? Old Jia Wangshen walked back and forth on the ground with his hands behind his back, and glanced at the crystal ball again. Bastard. You quickly kill him. What are you chewing? Earth. Sun Wukong. Finally, you have shown up. Boo was stunned for a while, and suddenly said behind Sun Gohan. What? Sun Gohan was slightly startled, turned his head back and turned into chocolate. Boo's tentacles moved a little, and a pink flame burst into the body of Sun Gohan. Sun Gohan's body is also shrinking rapidly. In an instant, Sun Gohan's body turned into a piece of chocolate with a wrapping paper. Chocolate rises from the sky and falls to the ground. Wow, cack cack. Boo went up to Ning and picked up the chocolate, laughing loudly. Realm King God, Realm Old Realm King God. This idiot. Let you be careful. Let you be careful. You are good. You just don't listen. You clearly have the ability to destroy him, but Faye wants to talk so much nonsense. The old king was so angry that his nose was crooked. Boo took the chocolate, peeled off the wrapper, and was about to eat it, but it was a clever idea. Even if I eat him, he will not increase his strength. I might as well absorb him. Boo thought for a while, and immediately wrapped the wrapping paper again, and then patted the chocolate on his body, and the chocolate quickly melted into Boo's body. Immediately afterwards, a flame of light came from within Boo's body and bombarded the chocolate. The chocolate quickly changed shape and turned into the appearance of Sun Gohan. The pink fibers came quickly, wrapping Sun Wufan like a zongzi. Yan Sun Wufan had no time to resist, and was controlled on the spot. Then, these pink fibers brought Sun Wufan to the brain. The nucleus quickly went outside, and Boo's body also changed rapidly. Boo laughs. Fan Boo is born. Deep in the mountains. It's Boo's breath. This guy is getting stronger again. Vegeta turned her head and looked into the distance. Humph, it's my turn to take care of this guy. Vesi snorted coldly. This time, I'll trouble you to protect the full moon. Vegeta smiled. It was the default. The two Vegetas studied for a whole day, and they didn't think of a way to strengthen the artificial full moon. The existence of the artificial full moon is rather embarrassing. If you choose not as strong as yourself, naturally you can't destroy the full moon. However, if your strength is not as good as your own, then why do you use an artificial full moon? Just go up and beat it. Two Vegetas have been researched and found that the firmness of this artificial full moon is completely destroyable by the third level of Sun Wukong's Super Saiyan. However, if the two Vegetas cooperate with each other, it would be a good choice. One of them turned into a giant ape, and the other became a giant ape or the same giant ape, guarding around the full moon. If someone destroys the full moon, the breath of Son Gohan, who can be blocked, disappears. Maybe it's that guy Boo. Absorbed, Vegeta said solemnly. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 213 Go, the most useless god in history. Speaking of which, the Boo of your era was born earlier, and the Boo of our era was born 6 years later than yours. Vesi said. Okay, stop talking nonsense, and act now. Greeted Vegeta. Shish. The two Vegeta turned into two golden beams, and flew towards the direction of Boo. After Boo was born, he looked up at the sky in the distance. Roger, wait for me, I want a little bit becomes stronger, and then hangs you. Mibu whistles softly and Boo rises into the sky. Not good. Gohan is absorbed by Boo. Boo is flying towards us. Dandy's face became extremely difficult. God, let's go to the room of spirit and time to hide. Mr. made a decisive decision and took the gods to leave. However, Boo who absorbed Son Gohan was faster. Just a few breaths, Boo's figure already appeared in the temple. Boo glanced at Dandy and Mr. didn't pay attention, then walked up to the still dizzy Kaiwangshen and kicked 16 feet. The king of the realm slowly woke up and turned around. King of all, Grand Priest. The king of the realm still has the appearance of the two gods in his mind, but soon, the god of the realm saw a pink guy who was coldly looking at himself. What? Boo! Kaiwangshen shuddered, and immediately woke Kaiwangshen. You are quite leisurely. Boo chuckled lightly. How has your appearance changed? You absorbed Son Gohan. Kaiwangshen is desperate. You were right. Boo smiled softly. The realm king stopped talking. The only hope is gone. Now, I need your help. Boo smiled and looked at Zhuangshen. What do you want to do? Jia Wangshen asked. Take me to the planet Wampa and I can spare you from dying. Boo smiles. Wampa planet. The realm king was slightly startled. Yes, only Sun Wukong can beat me at the moment, right? Don't you want to send me to planet Wampa? Besides, there seems to be no human existence on that planet, which is very beneficial to you. Boo smiled as he watched the King of Holland send him there. At this time, the voice of the old Realm King came into the mind of Realm King, and I sent you there. The King of God nods. Kaioshen said that he would leave, and he took Boo through teleportation, and appeared on the planet Wampa in a flash. You have no value to use. Boo glanced at Kaiwang God. Boo kicked and kicked Kaiwang God flying. It's your life, so get out of here. Boo didn't even bother to look at Kaiwang God, so he snorted coldly with a sullen look on his face. The Realm King struggled to get up, bared his teeth, and clenched his head, but he couldn't say anything. Bulma's home. Two Vegetas fell from the sky and landed on Roger's side. Suji. Boo's breath suddenly disappeared, and the king's breath also disappeared. Did they go to other planets? Asked Vegeta. Yes, Boo absorbed Gohan and moved to Wampa. Roger nodded. Can you send us there? Vegeta asked. I will let the Kaiwang God come and pick you up. Roger readily agreed, and Roger agreed so kindly. Moreover, how do you feel that there is a smile in Roger's eyes? Vegeta has a bad feeling. Vesi did not capture these details. He was not familiar with Roger. On the crystal ball above Roger's scepter, the body of the Kaiwang god immediately appeared, and he came back to pick up someone. Roger greeted the Kaiwang god and immediately reacted on the Wampa planet. Is it Roger God? Zhuangshan shuddered, and hurriedly bowed to promise. It was just for a moment, and the realm came back through teleportation, appeared beside Roger, and stepped forward to kneel. Get up. Roger didn't feel embarrassed this time. The king god then asked, by the way, I felt that the Grand Priest Quan had come to Earth before, did you see it? Are they really Lord Quanwang and Lord Grand Priest? The realm king god is crying, what have I done? My name is Lord Quanwang, is it a porcelain doll? Kaiwang Shen feels that he must be possessed by a degenerate spirit. No, I am God. Who dares to possess me? What did they come to you for? Roger was a little curious. I don't know. Kaiwang Shen shook his head. I passed out at that time and Roger didn't understand. The king of Quan and the great priest came to Earth and they looked for the Kaiwang god. What are they two going to do? Roger simply doesn't think about it, whatever. Go, send Bei-Si and Bei-Gun-Gun to the planet Wampa and let them fend for themselves. Roger instructed the Daoji Wang Shen to nod his head. Soon, Kaio Shen took two Vegetas and disappeared in a flash. I know them. Bidili saw the two Vegeta leave, and then stammered and said, aren't they the ones who defeated Sharu and saved the world? Are they twins? Not twins, little girl. Bulma explained. Aren't twins so similar? Bidli asked. They are the same person. Bulma smiled. The same person. Cloned. Bai Jinli asked again. One of the 647s is from another era. Bulma said with a smile, do you understand me when I say this? Ah, from another era. Biddy Lee's eyes widened. The King of Kings appeared on the Wampa planet with two Vegetas. I can only send you here. Come on. Jia Wangshen said. Don't worry, I leave it here. Bei-Si's face was full of confidence. Go away, the most useless god in history. Vegeta snorted. Kai Wangshen's face changed color. Bei-Si, you insulted the realm god so much. You were so daring, the realm god left immediately. It's not shameful enough to stay here. I always felt something was wrong. Vegeta mused. What's the meaning? Bei-Si is puzzled. I couldn't have known Roger any better. Vegeta held his chin and said, Roger let us come to planet Wampa so easily, there must be something wrong. What could be wrong? Bei-Si smiled. You are overthinking it. If Son Gohan is really absorbed by Buu, apart from Bardock, we are the only humans who can defeat Buu. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 214 Brawly. Begging, we meet again. Things are definitely not as simple as you think. Vegeta shook her head and forget it. Don't think about it for now. Bei-Si didn't care about the names of these planets, it seemed a little familiar. Vegapay pondered. How? You came before. Bei-Si looked at Vegeta. No, I always feel that the name of this planet is Wampa planet. I seem to have heard of it. Vegeta is thoughtful. Hey, there seems to be Kakarot's breath over there. Bei-Si pointed at the diagonally behind and it was indeed Kakarot. He was also on this planet. I finally know why Buu, who absorbed Son Gohan, came to planet Wampa. Vegeta smiled. Let's go. Bei-Si greeted. The two Vegetas flew in the direction of Sun Wukong. Bright. Is it Vegeta? Have two Vegeta. Sun Wukong looked at Bei-Si, and then at Vegeta, ate Bardock well and didn't tell Sun Wukong about Bei-Si. You can call him Bei-Si, I am the real Vegeta. Vegeta said to Sun Wukong that he called Bei-Gun-Gun. Bei-Si smiled. Vegeta's eyelids darkened instantly. If you call me Bei-Gun-Gun again, I will kill you. Vegeta stared at Kakarot. How did you come to this planet? Bei-Si ignored Vegeta and asked Sun Wukong, why are your clothes so tattered? What can I say, there's a terrible guy I'm fighting with. Monkey King is the scary guy. Who? Vegeta asked. I don't know the name, but he must be stronger than Buu, Duo Wukong said solemnly. Buu also came to this planet, don't you know that? Bei-Si sneered and asked what? Sun Wukong was slightly taken aback, Buu is here too. Kakarot, you seem to have become a lot stronger. Bei Si smiled and looked at Sun Wukong with a dangerous fighting intent. Kakarot, before I defeat Boo, I really want to have a good fight with you. Vegeta. Why is this guy so hostile to Kakarot? Vegeta is a little confused. Our opponent is to beat Boo, okay. Bullying Kakarot, what kind of skill? Bei Gungan was unhappy, but after thinking about it, he didn't have any objection. It just so happened that the person hasn't come yet, so let's have a contest first. Sun Wukong nodded slightly, got ready for battle, and directly transformed into the second-tier Super Saiyan. How? Kakarot, don't you plan to transform into the third tier of Super Phi and let me see? Bei Si is in danger like this, it's a bit bad, right? Sun Wukong scratched his head. Well, Kakarot, you are as disgusting as the Kakarots of my day. Bei Si shouted angrily. At the same time as he said this, an energy bullet appeared in his hand and said with a wicked smile, since you don't want to become the third-tier Super Fire, then I will let you see it. The results of my cultivation in this era. This energy bomb made Sun Wukong's pupils shrink. Shake it, Kakarot. Bei Si laughed loudly, and then threw the energy bomb into the air. The energy bomb quickly flew into the sky. Sun Wukong seems to realize something. His face changes color. Bloom, my moon. Bei Si laughs wildly. While weeping, the energy bomb above the sky quickly bloomed with a golden flame, the artificial full moon, and was born. Bei Si also changed his body and immediately turned into a golden giant ape. Bei Si beat his chest. Sun Wukong was so frightened that he lost his mind, and he no longer hesitated at all, and turned into a Super Saiyan Tier 3 Kakarot. I'm going to trample you to death. Bei Si laughed wildly, stepped forward and stepped on Sun Wukong, hurriedly dodged away, and walked around Bei Si's huge body. Bei Si slapped the past. Only a muffled sound was heard, and Sun Wukong was slapped to the ground. Bei Si took a big step and stepped on Sun Wukong with one foot. How much hatred you have against Kakarot. Are you going to beat Kakarot to death? Ji-Kon doesn't understand Bei Si anymore. How does Vegeta know that in Bei Si's time and space, he has always been surpassed by Kakarot, and his heart has long been held back? Vegeta looked at it, and suddenly found that something was not right. Vegeta suddenly looked up and looked at the artificial full moon in the sky. Vegeta suddenly discovered that the artificial full moon was shrinking rapidly, not good. The oxygen content on this planet is too low, and there is a corrosive gas, and the artificial moon created may not last long. Vegeta's face changed color, and Vegeta finally knew why Roger agreed to come to this planet so kindly. It turned out that the planet's requirements for the artificial moon were too high. Vegeta speculates that even if an artificial moon can be created, it will take no more than 30 seconds for the moon to know that if it is placed on the Earth, if the artificial moon is not destroyed, it will not be a problem to persist for the last hour. Sure enough, Vegeta's artificial moon collapsed in the next moment. At the same time, Bei Si's huge body also shrank rapidly and returned to its original appearance. What is the situation? Bei Si is still stepping on Monkey King, and suddenly he feels a little bit of a footstep. This planet is a bit weird. The moon maid can only last for 30 seconds. Vegeta said loudly, what did you say? So to speak, as long as you don't become a giant ape, I'm not in danger. Qian Jiao. Sun Wukong smiled, swept his legs, knocked Bei Si to the ground, and slapped Vegeta on the nose. Bei Si wiped the blood from his nose, and his face became hideous, didn't he? Isn't this Bei Gungan? Did you come to my planet too? At this moment, Vegeta suddenly heard a familiar voice, and got up from nearby. Vegeta looked up. Broly. Vegeta recognized Broly at a glance, and her face became a little ugly. Vegeta clearly remembered that Broly's strength was not much different from Bardock's. No wonder Roger agreed so readily to come to this planet with Bei Si. This planet is Broly's. No wonder I just came to this planet, and when I heard the name of the planet, I felt a little familiar. Tiger shells are rolling, you have become a lot stronger. Broly looked at Vegeta with a smile. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 215 Broly, I hit 3. Vegeta, you know him. Sun Wukong is wearing Vegeta and looking at Broly. You know, he's very powerful. Vegeta smiled. It is very powerful, and the person who competes with me is him. Sun Wukong nodded and there are 2 Pei Gun Gun. Broly glanced at the other Vegeta. Alright, let's go together. Who is this guy? Pei Si doesn't know Broly. Simply put, he is also a Saiyan. What does Vegeta explain? Is he a Saiyan too? Pei Si and Sun Wukong were stunned at the same time, right? Bu Suili smiled. Also, I am the legendary Super Saiyan. Today, I am booming. When Broly said this, he directly activated the power of the giant ape, and his body became burly. Then, Broly roared in the direction of Sun Wukong and others, be careful. Sun Wukong quickly showed the turtle. Bei Gun Gun and Bei Si also immediately turned into Super Saiyan Second Order. Broly's heavy climb, bombarding Vegeta's body, and Vegeta bared his teeth in pain, and his body flew backwards at extreme speed. Bei Si, release the moon now. Vegeta shouted loudly and gritted her teeth. Knowing the strength of this Broly, she immediately condensed an energy bomb, which quickly heated up to high altitudes. Slap! The energy bomb immediately turned into an artificial moon, bursting with golden light in the sky. Moon! Broly was taken aback. Bang bang bang. At this time, Sun Wukong rushed up very cooperatively, launched an attack on Broly, slapped Sun Wukong to the ground and kicked Broly out, hitting Sun Wukong in the chest. Sun Wukong spews blood. The 2 Vegetas turned into golden giant apes at the same time and let out a roar. Only 30 seconds. Kill him immediately. Vegeta told you not to order me. Bei Si's face was sullen. He turned his ankle towards Broly and was shocked, and hurriedly dodged. I step on. The 2 Vegetas seemed to be playing with ankle gophers, and Broly Boo, who was rolling on the ground with his ankles, silently watched such a scene, and cold sweat fell on his face. It's ridiculous. Originally I thought that I absorbed Son Gohan, and it was more than enough to deal with those humans. I didn't expect Vegeta to become so strong. BGBB. Boo's face became more and more ugly. It's a pity that it's so big that it's not easy to absorb. Also, they said just now that this planet is a bit special, and the giant ape form can only last for 30 seconds. Silent for a moment. It seemed that the best thing to do was to absorb the guy named Broly. Boo muttered to himself, looking at Broly with eager eyes. Oops. Running out of time. Vegapay. Evil. Bei Si is even more anxious. Boom. At this moment, Broly was also beaten, golden light blooming all over his body, and he became a Super Saiyan. Broly picked up his arm and abruptly blocked Bei Si's foot. Bei Si's expression froze. How is this guy so powerful? This is the transformation of a giant ape. What a surprise. He's almost like our transformation. Vegeta is not surprised. His burly body just now directly absorbed the power of the giant ape. Absorbed the power of the giant ape. Bei Si was taken aback again. However, what surprised Bei Si even more was still behind. I saw Broly hugged Bei Si's ankle. The Lord's back fall. Bei Si's huge body smashed to the ground, and the entire planet was moving violently. At this moment, the monsters on the planet were so frightened that they shrank one by one, and did not dare to show up and use his head. Hit Vegeta's belly directly, and Vegeta puffed out a mouthful of blood, and Broly kicked it on the face of Vegeta's giant ape. Vegeta's huge body also fell heavily to the ground. The next moment, Broly squeezed Sun Wukong's neck with his right hand and raised it high. The artificial full moon in the sky quickly shrank into a small spot of light and disappeared. Broly glanced in the direction of the artificial full moon disappearing, but with a triumphant pride on his face. I said, 1 on 3, what do you think? Broly chuckled lightly, holding Sun Wukong's neck so high. The 2 Vegeta fell to the ground, and the unstoppable Pia. We are so naive, this guy is a lot stronger than I thought. Bei Si is even more despairing. I have turned into a golden giant ape, but it turns out that Broly's opponent is too terrible. Broly is so scary. You killed my pet and I want you to pay for it. As Brawly said, he punched Sun Wukong in the face and Sun Wukong cried out in pain. "Ah, you two can attack me at any time." Brawly smiled at the two Bayanta and let him go. Just as Brawly was beating Sun Wukong extremely aggressively, a cold voice came from the opposite side. Brawly looked up and his face changed slightly. "Bardock." Brawly lost his voice, and then his expression became a little surprised. "Brawly, we meet again." Bardock hummed coldly, "Are you here too?" Brawly smiled. 4 years ago, you were hanged and beaten by me. This time, I will repair you as well as I did 4 years ago. Kneel. This is their battlefield, let's go there and fight." Bardock smiled and said. Brawly let go of Monkey King readily. Brawly and Bardock quickly disappeared in place. Bardock was the one that Roger asked Kaioshin to send over. The King of God is very upset about this. My dignified King Kai, now turned into a vehicle. Regarding the training of Sun Wukong, Roger felt that he could temporarily come to an end. As for those two Vegeta, Roger found that they were stupid enough. Don't you understand yourself enough? 2 idiots, so far there is no way to become a Super Saiyan Tier 4. Roger shook his head. Could it be that, in addition to becoming a giant ape, do you need other conditions to transform into the 4th rank of Super Saiyan? Roger thought, why don't you find a chance to take Bei Gungan to Yijiao GT for a spin? Maybe, let Bei Gungan see how the Monkey King in GT became the 4th rank of Super Saiyan, so he can transform. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 216 The Birth of Vegeta. No. Roger found that he was too good for Bei Gungan. If you continue to indulge like this, it won't do you any good. Not in a hurry. There are still 3 months until the battle with Bei Shen. I believe that after 3 months, it is impossible for that Bei God to reach a very high level. These two guys have left. Boo looked at the disappearing Bardock and Brawly, and felt relieved that Boo wanted to absorb Brawly, but the appearance of Bardock made him uneasy for a while. Bardock appeared, Boo guessing Roger might be nearby, and Boo quickly figured out a countermeasure. Well, I absorbed these 3 guys first, and then I went to absorb Bardock and Brawly. Great. In this way, if there is no way to hang and beat Roger, I will still die. Boo clenched his hands. Of course, before absorbing them, have a good time with them. Boo smiled slightly. Boo's figure appeared on the top of Sun Wukong and other 3 people. Humph, today, I'm going to fight 3 times. Boo smiled and looked at the danger of Sun Wukong and the other 3 Sun Wukong below. Bei Gungan clenched his fists. Bei Si is even more vigilant. This shameless guy came when they didn't have much energy. Come on together. Boo smiled and waved at the 3 of Sun Wukong. How has your appearance changed? Monkey King asked. You do not know. I turned your son Gohan into chocolate and ate it. Boo patted his stomach. By the way, I also absorbed his energy. What do you say? Sun Wukong's eyelids changed again and again. Bang! Sun Wukong became the 3rd tier Super Saiyan, launched a violent attack on Boo, and then looked at Boo, but he stood in the air like a normal person, and let Sun Wukong learn to fight against himself and then kick and feed. Let's go to. Vegeta gritted her teeth. This time, it's your turn to release the artificial moon. Bei Si urged him. Vegeta snorted coldly, and suddenly let out the energy bullet. Immediately afterwards, Vegeta threw the energy bomb into the air. The flames shot out. Boom! The energy bomb in mid-air dissipated. What? Vegeta's face. I don't like fighting gorillas. Boo smiled contemptuously. This is cake. I'm afraid he has been hiding in the dark just now. Vegeta said in a deep voice. What should I do? Two can't become a giant ape. We are not his opponents at all. Bei Si has no idea at all, and our energy has been reduced a lot in the battle just now. Let's wait and guess. In an hour or so, there will be a real full moon on the planet. Vegeta looked up at the sky. An hour. Can we last that long? Bei Si's face changed color. So, at this time, instead of fighting with Boo here, it is better to watch the battle between Bardock and Brawly, and I believe that Boo will never dare to join in the fun. Vegeta smiled slightly and then, Vegeta didn't hesitate at all, just slipped away. I won't stay here to play with you. Basis' expression froze. And this operation. I'm so cowardly in this time and space. Why did you still run away? I Vegeta, the dignified Saiyan prince, running is not my style. Basis' expression kept changing. But I'm not from this time and space, why should I fight with that Boo? Basis suddenly wanted to understand. In this time and space, I have run away, what am I still doing? Basis thought about it a lot, and finally, with a flash, Boo's figure flickered, blocking the front of Basis. Never run away, Boo said in a cold voice. Boo kicked out and kicked Basis to the ground. Next, let's absorb them one by one. As Boo said, a piece of meat covered Basis' body. At this moment, Sun Wukong's figure flickered and quickly appeared beside Basis. Sun Wukong grabbed Basis, and through teleportation, disappeared again. It's teleportation. Boo snorted coldly. HMPH, you can't run away. Boo quickly ran after him. Kai Wangshan, used your earrings for Sun Wukong and Baisiong. Roger passed the scepter and greeted the Kaiwang god far away on the planet Wampa. Ask for flowers. Earrings. What's the meaning? The Realm King is puzzled. You just give them earrings and have them put one on the left ear and one on the right, Roger ordered. Yes, God Roger. The Realm King does not dare to neglect. Jiwangshan quickly appeared in the body of Monkey King and Baisi, Jiwangshan. Sun Wukong was slightly startled. Goku, earrings for you. Jia Wangshen handed the earrings to Sun Wukong and explained simply, you two put them on, one on the left ear and the other on the right ear. On this. What is it for? Sun Wukong's face is confused. Do you want me to wear it? Baisi hummed that Roger asked you to wear it. I don't know what will happen. The king god shook his head. He didn't know what the Potala earrings were for. Since it was made by Roger, there should be a miracle. Sun Wukong didn't hesitate anymore. He put the earring on Shanchi, and hurriedly put the earring on the other side. As soon as the two put on the earrings, they felt a strong attraction, dragging themselves and rapidly approaching each other. What's the situation? Baisi was shocked. The king of the world is also a face of compulsion. The two bodies merge into one. At this time, Boo was already rushing towards this direction, right? What? Boo looked at it from a distance, and was a little surprised. The next moment, he saw that the bodies of Sun Wukong and Vegeta quickly merged into a whole. There was a dazzling white light on the two of them. Beckett. Birth. Is there such an operation? The realm god is stunned. You. Who are you? Boo stopped the fusion of Kakarot and Vegeta on the opposite side of Vegeta, let's call it Vegeta. Boo was stunned. Super Saiyan. Vegeta smiled. Vegeta turns into a Super Saiyan. HMPH, do you think you can defeat me, Boo, when you combine? Boo snorted coldly and bombarded Vegeta, for a long time. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 217 Brawly. Bardock, you are really old. Bang bang. 3 minutes later. Fanboo was beaten and his face was bruised. How embarrassed T was. You were nothing more than that, I thought you were amazing. Veget's taunting of Bardock and Brawly's battle started in another part of this planet. Bardock became the ancient Super Saiyan god, and Brawly opened it directly. When the Super Saiyan transformed, the two sides fought evenly. 4 years ago, the two fought once. That time, Brawly had the upper hand and slapped Bardock, but after Bardock calmed down, his strength was greatly improved, and he was already more than Brawly. Sadly, the two never fought. Bardock broods over this. I've become stronger and stronger, but I don't fight anymore. No reason. This time, the two of them were able to meet each other, and learned that Vegeta looked at it from a distance, baring her teeth. These two guys are monsters. Why should I compare myself to monsters? Vegeta is not very calm. After a few minutes of fighting, Bardock was breathing heavily, feeling a little powerless. Bardock, you are old. Brawly smiled slightly. You don't have much energy, do you? And I have so much energy that I can't run out. Brawly went up quickly and launched a violent attack on Bardock. Bardak's face sank. 4 years no see. The strength of this guy Brawly is stronger than before. Bardak originally thought that he could hang Brawly completely. What I didn't expect was that my own stamina was insufficient, resulting in a little bit of energy output that couldn't keep up. In the next minute, Bardak was beaten by Brawly again and refused to accept it. Brawly grabbed Bardak high by the collar, lifted him up, and yelled at Bardak. Bardak paled. Bardak, you are really old. Brawly sneered and kicked Bardak to the ground. Bardak stopped talking. Am I really getting old? After 1,000 years of cultivation, can't even beat such a small immune child. Bardak was a little lost for a while. Do you really think that after 1,000 years of cultivation, it is amazing? Brawly looked at Bardak silently, and said indifferently, after 1,000 years of practice, it's almost the same as my practice for more than 30 years. Bardak was heartbroken. You are so direct. Well, I'm going to continue to clean up your Sun Wukong. Brawly smiled, turned and walked away. Bardak gritted his teeth and got up, clenching his fists. I want to surpass him. I'm going to overtake Brawly. I can't even beat Brawly, how can I beat Roger? Bardak suddenly felt a 10,000 point crit. Vegeta sighed inwardly. This Brawly is horrible. Even an old monster like Bardak who has practiced for thousands of years can be hanged. I don't know how Brawly has cultivated to this level. Is the legendary Super Saiyan really that powerful? What is that? I suddenly sensed that there was another powerful aura over there. Vegeta looked at Boo's direction, shocked. Who is here? Besides us, how can there be powerful people? Vegeta is sure, not God. Shin's chi is totally different from that of human beings. Who is it? Vegeta turned into a golden beam, and flew towards the distance. Vegeta wanted to see what Yant had tortured Boo to death and doubted his life. Vegito's hand knife emerged and directly penetrated Boo's body. Vegeta was holding Boo's body so high, with a confident smile on his face, and the curvature of the corners of his mouth became more and more taller. How about it? What else can you do? Have you made up your mind? You are such an idiot. Vegeta is all smiles. Boo's body melted from Vegeta's hand knife, and his eyes became fierce. Vegeta in the distance was surprised when he saw the strange face of Vegeta. Who is this guy? Why do you speak with an accent? Vegeta said to herself. Vegeta obviously saw Vegeta and smiled at him. This guy knows me. Vegeta clenched her head and asked, Hey, are you who? My name is Vegeta, and I'm a combination of Vegeta and Kakarot. Vegeta smiled at Vegeta. I'm Vegeta. Are you talking about the Veggie guy? Tower hummed and said. Vegeta chuckled, ignoring Vegeta. This crazy guy. No one. Vegekan is a little pissed. Is it just a combination? How is the body so powerful? Boo, what else can you do? I seem to have asked you just now, and your response is really slow enough. Vegeta said, kicking Boo again. Hateful. Boo can't stop baring his teeth. The old Realm King spun around in a hurry in the realm of Realm Kings. Okay, I know you're strong, get rid of that guy quickly. The old Realm King is about to roar, can we not pretend? At this time, the Kaiju god also stared at Vegeta with wide eyes. He never imagined that the combination of Sun Wukong and Vegeta would be so powerful. His name is Bei Si. I am Vegeta. Vegeta said loudly, okay, your name is Vegeta. The King of God chuckled. Hello, have you ever eaten jelly beans? Boo suddenly said to Vegeta. What? Beckett was stunned. Become jelly beans. The tentacles on Boo's head suddenly burst out with a red flame, hitting Beggy directly. On special. Look at Vegeta again, his body rapidly becomes smaller and deformed. In the blink of an eye, Vegeta turned into a black jelly bean. Vegeta was dumbfounded. Kaiwang was dumbfounded. The old god of the world is holding the crystal ball and can't wait to chew it. Boo laughed excitedly and grabbed the jelly beans. I want to eat you and absorb you, by the way, just like absorbing Son Gohan. Boo looked at Jelly Dough with a smile and turned to Vegeta and Kaiwang Shinto without turning his head. you two don't have to worry, I'll absorb you later. Even if I absorb you later, it's impossible to improve your strength. How much? But it's better than nothing. What do you say? Kyoshin's face changed color. Comment. Boo is laughing. As a result, Boo's fist directly punched his nose and Boo's nosebleed came out. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 218 Transformation. Super 3 Vegeta. What's going on? Boo said with a look of astonishment. You are now facing the most powerful jelly beans in history, how about you? Do you want to try? Boo was stunned. Vegeta was also stunned. Kaiwangshen even stared at the beads, with an incredible look on his face. The next moment, the jelly beans incarnated by Veget, launched a violent attack on Boo, and Boo could not capture the figure of Veget at all. The jelly beans are too small and the speed is super fast. Change back. Boo hurriedly released the flame of light and restored Vegito to its original shape, so he's back. Vegito smiled, are you still playing? Boo's face became more and more gloomy. Boo's flesh turned into slices and headed towards Vegito's body, enveloping Vegito in one fell swoop. Vegito looked solemn, and immediately put a protective film on his body. Boo said that he was about to absorb Vegito. However, just when Boo had just wrapped Vegeta's body in it, before he could absorb it, Broly from a distance came quickly and grabbed Boo's head. It hit the ground and Vegeta fell out of it. Lol. Broly pushed Boo's head and slid across the ground. Broly grabbed Boo's ankle and slammed the ground back and forth, left and right. Boo felt his head dizzy, and there were many little stars in front of him. Veget, who was preparing to sneak into Boo's body, was also abandoned, and the Black Danger was suspended in the air. Very enjoyable. Broly clapped his hands and said to Veget with a smile, I saved you, how are you going to thank me? You ruined my good deeds. Veget said coldly. Oh, not even a thank you, but a monster. I see you are looking for a fight. Broly chuckled. You try. Veget's face was also wary. Bang bang bang. The two meet soon. Minutes later. Broly becomes ape form. Vegito didn't have any ink, and turned into a Super Saiyan Broly. He was a little surprised, and found that he was still at a disadvantage, and he was dangerously discolored and booming. Broly also turned into a Super Saiyan. Vegeta was a little nervous at the time, and for a while, he was in danger and stepped back. But then, Vegeta's golden glow bloomed all over his body and became the second-order Super Saiyan. Interesting. Broly laughs and gets braver. Vegeta feels the pressure again. Broly learned a lot and beat Vegito backwards by hundreds of meters. After Vegito stopped, a mouthful of blood spurted out. No. Brows pointed at Veget with a frivolous expression. At this moment, Bardock also flew over. Seeing the battle on the scene, his face kept changing. Boo struggled to get up, but was beaten on the forehead by Bardock. Fainted on the spot. Super Feather Tier 3. There are endless smiles on Veget's wrist. Ground. A vast energy emerges from Veget's body. Powerful energy is raging on this planet, spreading rapidly towards the depths of the universe. At the same time, Veget's hair grows back quickly, with long hair reaching his waist, and lightning flashes and thunders on the planet Bezins. Oh, it's interesting, the combination of Monkey King and Basis Patara earrings is a little surprised that he has such a strong strength, and then shook his head gently, but it's a pity, compared with that Broly, there are other a big gap, it's not even as good as Badaquise for a while, and he won't go to the right anymore. Is Roger trying to increase Basis knowledge? What's the function? It is better to practice honestly. Weiss shook his head gently, but anyway, this time I will definitely stop the training of the Galaxy Patrol Headquarters Bei Shen, and looked up in the direction of the breath that just burst out. Whose breath is that? What a powerful breath! Bei Shen's face changed color, and cold sweat fell from the danger as if it was a combination of Sun Wukong and Bei Si. You don't have to worry. Mels smiled. Combine. What's the meaning? Bei Shen was puzzled. It is the Potala earrings of Lord Kaiwangshen. One is worn on the left ear and the other is worn on the right ear. The two can fit together. Except Kaiwangshen, Other human beings can only last for about 1 hour. Myers smiled slightly. You and Basie are only compared to the strength of the single body, the combination or something, you just understand it simply, I know it. Bei Shen nodded lightly, looked up at Myers and said, Myers, I am the Super Saiyan God you said. It's a long process, you don't have to worry. Myers smiled confidently, now that Basie, you must be stronger than you. Pei God nods. Wampa planet. Vegeta is transforming into the 3rd rank of Super Saiyan, and his face is full of confidence and fun. Broly slightly. Broly, eat my punch. Vegeta condensed his energy and bombarded Broly with a powerful punch. It's just that when Vegeta's fist was about to hit Broly, Vegeto's body was divided into 2, Basie and Sun Wukong. Basie and Sun Wukong looked at each other, surprised for a while. How did they separate? Was it a combination? Pity. Broly smiled and looked at Sun Wukong. How can I clean up you? Wukong immediately raised his vigilance. Enough. Bardock shouted. How? Bardock, don't you agree? Broly smiled lightly at the master and said, let all the people here go back. Bardock said, this guy named Boo has no value to use. Broly stopped talking. Since it was Roger calling, Broly didn't dare to talk too much. Lord Kaiwangshan, then please take us back. Bardock nodded to the Realm God. Xindao Realm God. The strength of these human beings has far exceeded the imagination of Kaiwang God. The next moment, under the leadership of Kaiwang God, a group of people appeared beside Roger together, including Fanbu, who had fainted. Wake up, Boo, Roger told Bardock. Yes, Master. Bardock nodded, stepped forward and gave Boo a slap. Boo jumped up from the ground in shock. When Boo saw Roger, his face changed again and again. Release the Son Gohan you absorbed. Roger ordered. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 219. Complete the experience and finally turn positive. Boo shivered. After a brief silence, Boo scratched his head casually, pulled off a piece of meat, and threw it to the ground. Son Gohan came back from the meat, and was still in a coma. Bardock knew that Roger had something to say, so he hurried forward and took it out. Sun Wufan woke up very well, and they all stood in line for me according to the size. Roger told Doug Broly to the few people present. Although the people present were speechless, they obediently lined up in a row according to their size. Son Gohan was young and not very tall. Vegeta, Basie, and Bardock were the first in line. Sun Wukong, Broly, and Boo is the highest. What are you doing standing here? You go in too. Roger faced Kaiô Shinto. I am a god. You put me in the ranks of humans. However, after seeing Roger's terrifying eyes, Kaiwangshan was cowardly. Jia Wangshen knew that he could not go in, but he might be hanged and beaten. Jia Wangshen hurried over and stood up, standing behind Sun Wufan. Count the numbers. Roger rode. Sun Wufan World King God. Vegeta. 1. Sun Wufan has started to count. Kaiwangshan hesitated for a while, but had to keep up. Report to Roger, the team is assembled. There should be 8 people, and there are 8 people. Broly took a step to the left and reported to Roger. Bardock. Vegeta. Kaiwang God, you sycophants. Is there such a thing as the number of people who should be there and the number of people who are actually there? Also, who did you learn these things from on planet Wampa? What did Broly mean? Sun Wukong is a confused Bardock. It seems that I have to find a chance to let Kakarot learn the world. Roger glanced at Broly silently. This boy has long eyes. It seems that BB Gungan is more savvy. When he played against Clute and the others 4 years ago, Broly showed a good summary of the cooperative battle. Roger lay on the reclining chair, looked at the standing team, and said 4 words faintly. Behind Roger, there are Bulma and Bidili. Son Gohan, you are in the old world king. With the help of God, he raised his powerful energy, and his strength far surpassed that of Boo, but he was turned into chocolate by Boo because of his carelessness. Roger first said that Son Gohan, and Son Gohan lowered his head and said nothing. Son Gohan knows that he did something wrong and missed the best time to kill Buu. You are the god of creation. Buu's incident has nothing to do with you, but you are running away in this incident. I ran around and wanted to do it myself, which really disappointed me. Roger sighed slightly, and said with a scolding from the Kaiwang god. Kaiwangshan had no words at all. The Realm King is very clear that if he speaks at this time, he will definitely be hanged and beaten, so be honest. Bei Si, you are not from our time and space, so I will not talk about you. When Roger said this, he looked at Vegeta behind Bei Si. Vegeta shivered. Bei Ying, what are you thinking this time? Roger asked with a smile. He didn't have any thoughts. If he persisted for a while, a real full moon would appear on the planet Wampa. By then, wouldn't it be me who would dominate all this? Vegeta is kneeling hard, Roger reprimanded. At the same time, Roger's body released a coercion. Vegeta was on her knees. Vegeta. I don't want to kneel. Roger, this guy is unleashing his coercion again, so shameless. Bardock, how about you? How do you feel? Roger looked at Bardock again. I will practice hard, and I will defeat Broly. The strongest warrior of mankind is only fighting against Broly today, which made Bardock feel the huge pressure and pursuit. The key question is, how many years did Broly practice? How many years have you been practicing? Broly is right, even if you have practiced for 1,000 years, if you practice in the wrong direction, your strength will be the same. Roger rode. Bardock lowered his head, feeling the great frustration of Sun Wukong. Roger said to Sun Wukong, your performance in this incident is not bad, you can only make do with it. Sun Wukong nods. Broly, you didn't let me down. In 4 years, your strength has greatly improved. Roger smiled and affirmed Broly. Yes, I will try my best. Broly nodded solemnly. As for you, Buu, I already gave you a chance, but in the end you still lost. Roger shivered as he looked at Buu Buu, his sleeping hole full of horror. Differentiate that fat man in you. Roger said, then, I might consider letting you recast Buu's changing face. Brief silence. Buu opened his mouth and spit out a fat man who was Fat Buu. At the same time, Buu's appearance also changed rapidly, turning into the image of little Buu. Is that chubby? Bulma was a little surprised. Buu just stared at Roger silently. Buu directly used his powerful energy to shatter his body. Buu chose to commit suicide, and the soul flew out of his body. Of course, except for Roger, the rest of the people were not reachable, even if it was Kaiwang God. Before Buu's soul entered the underworld, he couldn't see it. The scepter in Roger's hand burst into flames and hit Bona's broken body at once. Okay, in time, Buu's body was quickly repaired, and at the same time, Buu's soul immediately returned to his body. What do you mean? Buu came back to life, slightly surprised to the right of Roger. Congratulations, you are beyond yourself, you are free. Roger smiled, your current strength is not much different from that of Sun Wukong, so you can do it yourself. Buu took a deep look at Roger. Thanks. Buu thanked him and left quickly. Let's go back to our own homes and find our mothers. Roger waved his hand. Seeing that his angelic power had been consumed to zero, Roger felt great in his heart. This time, with the Sha Renbu incident, Roger's last 10 points of angelic power were finally exhausted. From this moment on, Roger's control of the power of angels has finally reached the perfect level. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 220 King Quan, do you want to start the era of archangels? For angels, the power of angels is used to fight, and the realm of straight gods is used to cast spells. The two seem to be one for body training and the other for cultivation. Now, Roger has 100% perfect control over the power of angels. Roger suddenly discovered that the consumption of his 10,000 angel power seems to cover the entire story of Dragon Ball Z. From the birth of Sun Wukong to the end of the Majin Buu incident. And after the Buu incident ended, his control over the power of the angels reached a perfect level. Roger waved his hand gently. Suddenly, the void trembled, The whole universe seems to go silent. Sun Wukong and the others, who were about to leave, felt such a change, and even Boo, who was far away, was shocked and scattered. You see, for you guys, you always want to keep getting stronger, but for me, it's about getting weaker. It's a good drama. Roger smiled at Sun Wukong and others. Bardock. Vegeta King God. Are you telling the truth? Honestly, why don't you believe it? Roger broadcast the head. Okay, Bei Gungan and Bei Si stay, and the rest can go. So fast. Roger's experience is over, his angelic power has been exhausted, and his control of angelic power has reached a perfect level. The great priest is facing the 290 All-King's road. Well, as expected of an archangel who was born after hundreds of millions of years, it really exploded. King Quan nodded vigorously. Lord Quanwang, do you want to start the era of archangels? The great priest's expression became serious. His true god domain is a bit low, why don't you wait? Quanwang said in a deep voice. The grand priest replied, and then sighed, this time, I don't know how many gods will fall to say this, and the grand divine palace suddenly changed a little bit. Ah, Roger called me. The grand priest nodded to King Quan Xieli. The great priest just answered the phone out of thin air, without using a scepter or anything. What's the matter, Roger? Dajingu asked. Great priest, my experience ended early, and the new universe that I said was a little late to start. Roger said I got it. The great priest smiled. Angel's experience ended early, is there any reward or something? Roger asked again. The great priest said with a dark face. Reward a wool. You've already got so many good things, what more do you want? Would you mind saying that? I don't care about the rewards in kind. At least convene the 12 angels and a few apprentice angels, publicly praise me and give me a certificate or something, so as to motivate the other apprentice angels and let them practice hard, right? Roger suggested with a smile. Grand Priest. How boring are you? The priest looked at King Quan, indicating that he should start the era of archangels first, or did this kid not disturb the realm of the gods? Roger, I took note of what you said, and I will consider it. Said the king. Xiaochuan, you are here too, disrespectful. Roger said quickly. 4. Xiaochuan. This kid is really no big or small. Or, before he grows up, repair him. If you don't fight again, you won't be able to fight in the future. By the way, when will the Archangel's divine position be established? Roger asked the Grand Priest. Your kid has just mastered the power of angels perfectly, and you are thinking of the Archangel. Ahem, the Archangel's position is not in a hurry. The Great Priest coughed and said with a smile, when your true God realm reaches 1000, you can start the age of Archangel. Roger said angrily, now on the angel ranking, Karen, who ranks first, has less than 800 in the true God realm. Roger, you are the successor of the Archangel, so you are different. The Great Priest explained, and, after taking office as the Archangel, the real God field finally reached a height of 10,000. I don't read much, so don't fool me. Roger muttered. There is a record in the library of the God's World BGCG, that you are unwilling to study yourself and say that I am fooling you. The real God realm of the last Archangel has reached 10,000. Didn't that guy also give all the real God realms of the angels? Roger was thoughtful. Grand Priest. Why do you always think about the realm of Li Junction from other angels? Roger, the last Archangel had no hobby of gambling, and his true God domain was cultivated little by little. The Great Priest corrected. How long did it take him to cultivate the true God domain to 10,000? Asked Roger. 1,000 years. The Great God. It's wet and long, Roger sighed. The High Priest didn't speak with a dark face. 1,000 years, time is very short, okay. Karen has been cultivating for thousands of years before he cultivated the real God field to a height of close to 800. The same is true of Weiss, the real God field is close to 700. However, the last Archangel is special. After only 1,000 years of cultivation, he let the real God realm reach 10,000. Remember to give me a certificate or something. Roger hung up the phone after he finished speaking. Previous Archangel. Roger frowned. The last Archangel mentioned by the Great Priest and King Quan. Where is the person now? Where did it go? Could it be that the last Archangel has become a full god? I've heard that there are all gods in the realm of the gods. Roger didn't ask. He knew very well that even if some things were asked, the King Quan and the Grand Priest wouldn't say anything. Roger looked at Baisi and Bei Gungan. Run. Vegeta felt that Roger's eyes were a little wrong, and immediately turned into a Super Saiyan, rushing into the sky. Baisi is dumbfounded. What are you running for? Why are you running? In the next few minutes, Baisi finally understood why Bei Gungan ran away. Baisi was coerced to the ground by Roger, rolling on the ground. I am not Bei Gungan. I'm Baisi. No, I'm Vegeta. Baisi felt so tragic. Bei Gungan, you come here. For the sake of your faster running this time, I won't let you go, and this substitute is not bad. Roger speaks to Bejipe. Vegeta flew back and fell from the sky. Baisi feels aggrieved. So shameless. This babe is rolling, running really fast. You two are so disappointing to me. Roger shook his head. I created such good conditions for you. Your strength is only swaying on the basis of the golden giant ape. Moreover, once you lose the conditions for transformation, you can only be abused. Two Shells Gita stopped talking. You're right. We are speechless. You are a genius, remember in a second.